knows which team is it going to be? We can only hope for some explosive Dota to find that out. And to talk about that Dota with my panel here, I want to first talk about Team Spirit, how they got here, Fear, because it's been a tremendous road for them. They have looked unstoppable.
Oh, they definitely have, and we heard in the last segment there, everyone seems to be afraid of Yatoro for good reason. This entire team in general, like you think of Collapse, and especially Laurel, who at the beginning of the year, a lot of players like, he may be the weak link in the team, but now for what he does, he may be the best at it, and what a year he has had. Every single player on this team is a threat.
Yeah, Lucas, I think you called Laurel the most improved player.
Yeah, absolutely. He was the easy target to pick on because results were lacking. You know, you're playing with other members of the team who already won a TI, and one thing I really like about the rest of the team is they decided to lift him up. You know, they wanted to win a big tournament, big LAN tournament coming into TI, and they won Riyadh Masters, which was, you know, when there's a lot of money involved, you know, the team spirit, they're gonna level up.
Yeah, and throughout the year, they've been trying to find where to put Lau in the team, right? They sometimes drafted him for like last pick during Berlin Major. The majority of his picks were at the end of the draft, and now coming into TI, he's kind of shifted back into the middle because they're more confident with what he's trying to bring for the team, trying to give the game for Collapse and Yatoro to pop off as much as possible. So it's been a long year to get there, but it's clicking at the right time.
It is clicking at the right time. When we're talking about clicking at the right time, LGD is clicking at the right time because, I mean, yeah, it's great that Team Spirit is doing it at the right time, but they have had Laurel for the full year, and it clicked towards the end. For LGDT, Neo hasn't been around for that long with the squad, and they clicked fairly fast with him in the midst.
Yeah, it's testament to, I think, Xiaowe's scouting abilities, right? Like, when they're trying to look for this offlaner, every time it's like, okay, there's a good element here, what's happening? But for New, he just kind of popped up. He used to play on Vichy Gaming, and he is having an incredible time at this TI. You know, the stats are supporting it, everything's supporting that. This guy is such a foundation of the team so quickly. It is, you know, I think a lot of people were probably shocked at how easily he's just looking within the team.
One thing that they were lacking coming into this like DPC season, first one, second one, playing with Zeal, Zhang Yu, they did not have enough hero variety coming out from that off lane, and this is where Neo comes, because he can play pretty much anything. He's the type of explosive player. He wins his laning stage most of the time, and they can rely on him making rotations, because also one of the things that he does really well is not die. This guy is like top 2, top 3 when it comes to dying on the cores, and one thing I really like about him is also communication with the team. There was a game yesterday when they played against Azure Ray. He was going Blade Mail on the Night Stalker, which is, you know, not your item that you usually go for, and then NTS on Magnus, he had Blink Dagger queued up, and then he was like, okay, maybe I need a little bit more damage, I'll go for Echo Saber, switches back to Blink Dagger because he saw this Blade Mail, and then they get like 3-4 pickoffs, which kind of seals the deal for the game.
Yeah, he slotted in fantastically, and LGD, it has been working out for them. Again, I mentioned it earlier, only one game lost, Fear.
That is super impressive. But we're talking a lot about New, how well he's doing, but there's always like the behind-the-scenes characters, and that's Planet for me. And he's actually done the most stacking of any player in this tournament, which will definitely help like players like New get that head start, doing a really good job there. And this is a Xiao team. You're always going to expect that consistency. They always have it going into every game. Even if they have a rough early game, they know how to pick themselves back up, just continue to play the team fights. Their draft is always good. This team is just stable.
Yeah, the team is incredibly stable. When we're talking about stable, I want to switch to Team Spirit, as there's a player incredibly stable. He's on your screen right now. Yatoro has played phenomenal. Now everybody knows TI-10, most rampages, great records, did amazing, but Fear, the records, this TI, it's unparalleled.
This is the guy to beat. Everyone knows it. His stats are showing it. Highest kills, highest GPM, XPM, second in hero damage, second in tower damage, and he has, this is the best part too, he's not just doing it on a couple of heroes. He has the second highest hero diversity as well. This man is doing it all. He is taking the spotlight and everyone's afraid of him.
Yeah, and the key thing as well is when you look at the kind of the how impact of Yatoro, when you look at the damage he does per minute, and like at the minute marks, he's entering the mid game keeping up that. He's not going from killing in laning phase to hitting the creeps. Like, he's consistently farming and fighting, and he's got that perfect balance. It's why in that previous video they want to ban him out as a player, because he has found that perfect harmony between it all. That's what carry players are always aspiring to find.
And one thing that he really does well is the shot calling. He's the one that, you know, calling for these shots. Whenever he feels strong, he's going to be the voice of the team. We had a couple of interviews throughout the DPC season where he's like very vocal about his timings, and the rest of the team is going to follow whatever he does.
One thing I want to mention also, when we're talking about Team Spirit, last year, it wasn't, I mean, the year itself was great, but I'm talking about last international. It wasn't great for them, Lacoste. It felt like the patch might have just not fit the team very well.
Yeah, I think it comes down to this heavy zoom meta that was happening and the collapse. These are not his, you know, favorite heroes to play. Well, he really shines on these initiators, team fights that have some kind of a stun. He likes to be the one controlling the tempo of the game, going in first. And now that zoom meta is kind of over, you can see that Team Spirit is doing much better.
Yeah, it fits Collapse well, it fits the team well. And I have to ask this question, Fear, but comparing this form of both of these teams, both Spirit and LGD, versus the form TI10, how similar are they in terms of peak level?
They look more dominant here to me.
Team Spirit does.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing great at TI10, of course, but like they didn't go in as the favorites every single series. So like they had a lot of like challenging games they overcome. Now it kind of feels like every game is just a little too easy for them. So they're just looking unstoppable at the moment, where LGD, they're bleeding here and there in the early game. They're just like, as I said, they always have a stable draft. They always come back into the games, and their fundamentals are probably the best of any team.
Where does the dominance come from? What part of the game are they just exceptionally good at?
I think it also I'm going to detach from the game there, but
yeah.
I think these are the only two teams where when I look at a draft from them, if they take a loss, if they win in a difficult way, you know the next game, the draft's going to be completely different. Or there's going to be a whole element and shift. And I don't think a lot of teams have that ability within a series at TI to have that room. But when you have, you know, sign up for one coach, Zhao Wei as well, like they are teams that are refreshing in this way. Personally, I want to see these guys in the grand finals. I want to see the rematch because just they bring the most invigorating drafts of any team.
It seems like everybody wants to see them in the finals. We heard Chalice say the same thing. He's ready for Team Spirit tomorrow. So we'll see who gets the honor of being up against them in the grand finals, if they make it that far. Or lower bracket finals. You know, that's also tomorrow. That's also something Chalice could have meant there. But Team Spirit, LGD, there is a war of battle going on. Dota 2, great. There's another war going on while everybody else is playing Dota 2. And as a support player, Lacoste, this is something that piques your interest. It's the wards war.
Yeah, pretty much PSG LGD, they're the best at this TI in terms of dewarding, also the amount of wards that they lose, the amounts of observer wards that they kill. It comes down to them picking up one of the earliest gems. They love to pick it up early, like a lot of Chinese teams do, is just to be able to like continue the domination with this gem. It's all about the tempo, and they're setting up a really high tempo whenever they pick up the early gem.
Yeah, I also like the fact that now, because obviously, I say now, we've had 5 couriers for a long time, but it took some time for pro players to feel comfortable buying an early gem, having that courier out on the map ready to snipe it away, because if you do die and give away a gem, it's going to feel pretty bad if you're buying it 20 minutes. But just these pros, they're so much better now, micro in the couriers, making sure that the gem is at the forefront of their ideas, and when you have heroes like this, like Night Stalker and stuff that can utilize it so well, you can just choke out your opponent in both vision and gameplay.
I would say you kind of need it in this new map change because the map is so big now, right? And there's not enough sentries to cover the whole map, so if you want to choke players out now, you kind of need that gem, whereas before you could just deward certain areas of the map and feel pretty good about it.
There was this one guy on Reddit yesterday that could be on the analyst desk. The question was how to beat Team Spirit. Number 1, don't get outdrafted. Number 2, don't get outplayed. Number 3, most importantly, don't lose.
It's so smart.
Good advice.
Do you have his username? Because he might be needed right now. You don't have it.
I don't have it, no.
Missed out.
Shout out to him, though.
Yeah,
shout out to him.
Shout out to that guy on Reddit.
Team Spirit has lost more games than LGD this TI, though. You can't deny that one. And one thing that we often talk about, but when it's in upper bracket finals, it's something different. We talk about momentum a lot. Both of these squads come fresh off of the win in the upper bracket semifinals. They have all the momentum they can wish for. The only thing they've got to go on where they might be faltering a little bit, we'll see. How much did their opponent learn from their series before this? Fear, we watched both the series yesterday. Let's talk about Team Spirit first. They, of course, dropped a game. Was there anything that you feel like LGD could really pinpoint in Team Spirit's gameplay or draft that they're like, okay, you know what? We learned from that and we can beat them now?
Well, I think for the most part, like when you play against Team Spirit, you always have to be ready for their late game because they've shown you can beat them in the early game, but sometimes this is why Yatoro is so scary. He can always find a way to come back into the game. So keeping Yatoro down and also in the early game, keeping Collapse down, making sure he can get on his axe and get a bunch of kills around the map. I think that's something you should definitely focus on, but they don't have like one weakness that's consistent throughout all games. It's going to change by game to game.
Yeah, one thing that I've seen from LGD Gaming is Shiro is amazing, slightly weaker laning stage compared to Yatoro, but he's the type of a guy that also can make a huge comeback. Game yesterday when they played against Azure Ray on Spectre, he got dominated. He couldn't do anything, then went back to jungle, farm Hand of Midas, and he's also the type of a guy that is not too afraid to sacrifice some of his own farm for the rest of the team to be able to pick them up, because it's not all about the carry, while on the side of Team Spirit, they like to heavily rely on Yatoro.
Yeah, and for me, I think Spirit, that game too, it was maybe an overreaction to the Spirit Breaker, right? They had a lot of counter-aggression heroes, but they weren't able to push out the lanes, make these early moves, and we talk about how good Team Spirit is in the late game, but they just didn't really draft themselves a way to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's my main kind of concern in this upcoming series is if they go a little bit too defensive, LGD, they're going to be able to punish that. So it's finding that balance once again, and you'd think Spirit also would identify that after quite a nice victory from Liquid in that game.
Yeah, with LGD Azure Ray series yesterday, there was a very clear switch that was flipped halfway through the game in both of the games where Azure Ray was running at LGD. And yeah, LGD lost a couple of heroes here and there, but cool and composed, LGD mid-game, 15 minutes in, flips a switch and is able to make a comeback happen. Will the series be similar to yesterday? Will Team Spirit have a better plan in place than Azure Ray did? We're finding out. Game 1 draft starting now.
Team Spirit versus LGD Gaming. Game 1.
Here we go. We got LGD and Team Spirit on stage. LGD will be Radiant side. Team Spirit will be Dire side. First pick will go to LGD, and we've seen how important first pick has been throughout the entire international. But maybe Team Spirit has a better plan than previous teams had. Team Spirit was able to beat Team Liquid yesterday, who had first pick, so they have got something figured out. In terms of the bans, though, we're going to have a lot of the fan favorites, or maybe not even fan favorites, but a lot of the player favorites removed, T.
Yeah, I think right now the only question mark is will Team Spirit ban out that Phoenix? It's been quite a regular ban, but also Muerta's still in play. Because they've pushed Spirit Breaker into the first phase of bans, the kind of classics is Phoenix, it's Muerta, and this time around, Muerta is going to be let through.
I know it's not the most popular hero right now, but we've seen Magnus, not necessarily a first pick material here. Like, they go way back. This is LGD against Team Spirit, TI-10, 3 games of Magnus, and yesterday, nothing to say. He showed really dominant performance on the hero, so I think we might see the hero just being picked, especially if it goes to game 3.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see here. I'm very curious to see what the first pick choice will be here for LGD. There's still the Brewmaster in the pool. They do like this hero from time to time, but I think the last time we picked up was more of like a block pick. Is there going to be something similar in this series? Are they going to try to do more block picks against Spirit here, or are they just come out with something that's more comfort?
I mean, LGD, they've been predominantly second pick throughout this tournament, unlike most of the other teams that are rushing towards first pick, so that is something a little bit different. We haven't got as much data to go off of them, but I think
that they needed to lose more.
Yeah, they had to learn a bit.
Oh, they ban out a Tusk, and that means that they leave a large amount still in the pool. They'll pick up the AA first, but it does mean that the Brewmaster is still in the pool, which against Spirit is not often the case. And it is very annoying, mostly, to be up against Collapse's Brew. CK is still in the pool. A lot of ones, a lot of usual suspects still that Team Spirit can choose from here.
Yeah, a lot of options, but I think just this AA is a hero that we've seen on and off from teams, and it is so potent. Of course, in this tanky meta, being able to stop that healing is incredible, but I think Vortex is the key spell for me. Because the damage is now inside Vortex, it's a lot of blink cancelling, it's a lot of vision that you're applying, and you set up a lot of these position 4s, these mids, to even throw out even more damage in these fights. So I think this is a hero that we probably should have seen more throughout this TI, but now we're seeing it as a first pick overall.
Yeah, just go ahead and just pick an AA. All of a sudden, you're in a situation where you're just showing support. They're going to answer back with another support here. Most of the cores, we're getting pretty deep in the tournament now, so a lot of these good cores you would pick in the early phases, they're getting banned out now. And when I see an AA, we talked about, like, Collapse, he doesn't enjoy playing a lot of the Zoo heroes, but Beastmaster, Zoo-type heroes have always been good versus AA because, yeah, it is the meta right now. You want to be tanky, you want to buy heart, but this is why AA has been popular. That's probably why they're picking it now, too, to just kind of shut that play down.
Yeah, and if Ancient Apparition is paired up with something strong in the laning phase, like another stun, CK is still in the pool. You know, behind the scenes, pros are talking about this hero as being the strongest carry of the meta right now, and this has been old school combo. AA plus CK, you get stunned for a really long time. And also Shadow Demon, he's not the best hero against the CK because he wants to be blown up immediately. He also can get the target on with his ulti. Usually he's that anti-carry, but for now, LGD, they will take care of some of these backline jumpers, removing Spectre, because Ancient Apparition, he can't really defend himself.
Can we highlight the Shadow Demon a little bit? Because I personally am puzzled. I am a simple person. I look at the stats. I see Shadow Demon picked 31 times at the International. 26% win rate. That's bad, T. Very bad.
Do you want to call out the teams losing with it, or no? I think
no, but I want to know why it might be good here.
So for this game, I think it's really good for the defensive capabilities. The fact that when AA commits to a fight, as long as you can buy time, it helps. AA naturally also can't find the backline, so SD's always going to have presence, knowing that at least one support can't get to you. And I feel like for Spirit, they have been one of the teams that have showcased how to play SD correctly. They flex between 4 and 5, and predominantly it is the disruption that is doing most of the heavy lifting for this hero nowadays, because if you don't stop him, it is just going to open up your engagement to reset and take that next fight.
Yeah, and another big thing this hero does that isn't talked about enough is he is a save, of course. His laning was buffed a lot, but he can stack a lot too. So if you do pick an offlaner, we know Collapse does like playing Axe and Tides and stuff like this. He can just get him really farmed and just accelerate Collapse's game. And Collapse is one of the scariest players to play against when he's top net worth.
10 seconds remaining.
You know, we're talking about the Zoo for Collapse, by the way. I was just double checking. It's like he's actually got like a 70% win rate on Beastmaster.
I mean, like, his Zoo is actually really good.
Yeah.
It's just at the beginning of the year, it didn't work out with Laurel and
yeah, exactly. So that's where it's like at the beginning of the year, if we're talking about this, like the stats reflect he should be able to pick it up, but they weren't achieving results. But now, seeing AA, seeing that development, we've seen it already. Like Weaver, kind of a non-existent hero, but then it's rising up. I feel like these could be the type of games that also certain heroes can shine when we haven't seen them before.
Well, Weaver won't shine this game. It just got banned out.
Let's go.
I mean, if you're speaking about Collapse, I think you talk to anyone that watch CI10, you say Magnus, you say Collapse. Amazing.
Pretty much. We did mention the hero, and I'm really glad that they are showing it up in the first game. You know, this is not just the battle in Dota, this is also mental warfare.
Oh, yes.
Take it away from LGD, and on top of that, like, yes, Magnus, it has changed from the horn toss, the old school times where Collapse was cheap, but then Harpoon got introduced. So you're still kind of doing the same thing. You're still dragging someone, repositioning them, and slaughtering them away from your team.
Well, that's pretty scary. But the real question for me is going to be, is Collapse going to play the Mag, or is he going to hand over the reins to Laurel? Because this hero's been picked in the mid lane most of the time, and we're not entirely sure the strengths of this hero right now in the off lane. At least I am not, but I know for a fact in the mid lane it is pretty successful.
Yeah, most likely going to be that mid because you want to get those levels, you want to become active. We already talked about NTS picking up Magnus yesterday, where he, you know, decided to play slightly more active. He understood what the role in the team is, but this is also a hero that can scale extremely well.
New hero joins the fray. Well, we've seen it played, but not very often. And actually, we've seen it played on the side of LGD earlier this week, or last week, I should say, but not on the side of Team Spirit, the Elder type.
In regards to draft, when we're saying about like the dynamic nature of both of these teams, like Spirit, this is the most protect your triangle, make stacks, utilize the empower, farm up. If you run into the triangle without vision, without a correct smoke, you're going to hit by a stomp. Disruption turnaround, RP, you're going to get absolutely obliterated. In LGD so far, it's a lot of 1+1 combos to get a kill, which isn't going to be the best to deal with Spirit if they are to go defensive.
Yeah, what I want to see from LGD is go into triangle immediately and start blocking some camps, because you have one of the best heroes in Dota to stack with and one of the best heroes in Dota to clear those stacks with.
Yeah, definitely. And I think more than anything right now, this Elder Titan, it's typically picked up against agility heroes for the aura, but in this case, it doesn't really matter. CK, he goes in, he normally blows up one hero, but then you have that Echo Stomp to just freeze everything in place, reposition. You have tons of AoE now to kind of deal with illusions. You have the Magnus as well that can keep up in the farm space, but LG's draft is still strong nonetheless.
Could this be like a void game for Team Spirit potentially? Because you have the buff ups, you're not as slow as before. The supports are food throughout the entire game. The jump potential of CK is always very scary, but if you don't jump, if you don't cleanly connect, that's when Void will obliterate.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. You have save with the disruption, so even if they manage to get a top of you, but we'll pick up a Terrorblade here. Yataro's classic.
This is just Spirit saying, if you want to be aggressive, we're just never going to be near you, right? Like, how quickly can they skip waves? They're going to be able to play such an intense macro game for Spirit that LGD, the next 2 picks for them, they need to be able to cut through that. Make sure they protect a wave, transport it towards the tower, defend it, and then take the fight they want to take. Because if they're not dictating this game, they're always going to be looking towards the next lane that they need to push out.
Oh, it's coming. Yes. Okay, time to get rid of some of these vision heroes from the mid lane. I mean, there is Storm Spirit available, maybe even Zeus. Like, I wouldn't mind even having, you know, Zeus on the side of Team Spirit. They're gonna go with Puck, so this is another elusive hero because they don't have this instant stun, so they might need to remove some of these elusive heroes. We did mention that, you know, NTS, he's not that cheesy player anymore. He's playing more of meta stuff, but his Tinker will always come out if it's a good game for it.
And why is it a good game for it this time around?
I mean, you're playing against Terrorblade. They don't have any kind of catch. Shadow Demon, like these heroes are gonna die.
Everything that I was saying for Spirit, being defensive, protect your triangle, these are properties that allow Tinker to have a good start to the game. The worst Tinker games is when you can collapse onto that mid tower, break down the map, stop Tinker from getting that Blink Dagger, just delaying the inevitable. And right now, LGD, they have the start of the fight that we mentioned with the CK, the Grimstroke combo, and for Tinker, he should be able to freely farm. Like, this last pick from Spirit needs to have a little bit of pressure and catch, otherwise this could just be the NTS show.
I think they only have 2 choices here, one being a Storm Spirit and the other one being Zeus. Outside of that, it's going to be very difficult for them to find the Tinker in these fights, and Tinker is a hero that we don't see a lot of. It definitely has a lot of weaknesses. Of course, the laning we talked about, sure, the Shadow Demon can come and gank him, which could be effective, but I think more than anything, they just want to pick a hero that can just stop Tinker from doing what he does best, just spamming spells in the backline. They need some type of gap close here.
Yeah. And LGD, they round out their draft with a Centaur, another hero that can just absorb a little bit of that damage during the team fight. Also, should have a relatively free lane, and that alone...
Strong lane coming out from LGD.
Ooh, I am scared for like 15-20 minutes. Spirit, where is the damage from this lineup? There's going to be Tinker running at you, CK, Blink Dagger potentially. You got Centaur Blink on top of you. Like, there's so much swarming that Spirit.
They can fix it potentially in their last pick. It seems like from the bans of LGD that LGD is banning out a couple of mid heroes with the Puck and the Bat Rider, so still having that option for the Mag to be flex.
Is this just like a boring kind of Pangolier style situation? Another hero that can find
Kunkka.
Okay.
Or Kunkka.
So they didn't really address the Tinker that much like for the game, but Kunkka's pretty strong in the laning stage. They can still play tempo, but I think more than anything, as per usual, we're going to be looking at the collapse of Magnus to make things happen on the map. If he has a good laning stage, maybe he will be the one to find the Tinker with that Blink Harpoon build.
I'm feeling this LGD draft, I'll be honest. 2 strong side lanes and nothing to say on Tinker. Also, the latest Chinese meme, you know, TI2, they wanted TI4, TI6, 2 plus 4 plus 6 equals 12. That's TI12 for you.
Yeah, it's written.
Wow, that's some good math.
And quick.
Well done, the handshake exchanged here on the panel. So we are all feeling like LGD has got an unanswered Tinker here then, T.
It's unanswered until Team Spirit have a lot of items. So it's kind of LGD's game to lose, where they're the ones that will be dictating a lot of the early pressure. They have a lot of really good early game timings, but of course, if Spirit gets to that late game, there's going to be the collapse pick-off potential. Yotaro with these Sunder turnarounds, like CK might potentially fall off into all the chaos that Spirit can bring, but it's all on LGD to break Spirit's farming patterns, don't allow them to get these items, and show us why this, 71% win rate Tinker across his entire career is picked up so boldly.
Oh, we're seeing early aggression then. That's what you're saying. That should come out. That should come out from both teams. Lacoste nodding along heavily. Yeah. And you're thinking still bloodbath, but Tinker comes out on top.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like they have, two strong side lanes and this Tinker that is not really answered until they start to get, a couple of items, X-Mark, and they also have a Centaur to defend their... If they don't want to take a fight, they can easily just stampede away.
Yeah, I think right now, if you do want to win this game, if you're Team Spirit, it has to be the Collapse show. It really does. We're going to have to see a lot of skewers, a lot of Harpoon plays. Other than that, it might be quite difficult because their lineup is slow.
And you said earlier that we've seen Mag mostly in the mid lane, but you feel like Collapse still can do this on the off lane.
Let's see. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. We're going to have to see. He's a great Mag player, but will it fit in the meta?
Will it fit in the meta? That's a question that maybe Silent can answer us as he's standing with Tsunami on the stage for a coach interview.
Thank you very much. I am standing by with Silent, who,
Hey.
You think you're funny?
What?
You think you're funny picking
What?
picking Magnus?
No, I don't think funny. Mag just plays Magnus. And we reach, why not?
See, now, I would understand that if you've picked that at any point in this tournament, but specifically against LGD, what's going on here?
I don't know. He just wanna play it. That's it.
It was Collapse's decision, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, you can't say him no. He's like, pick me Magnus and...
Seattle, you ready to see a Magnus? I said, are you ready to see Collapse Magnus? Then let's rock it with game one.
Thank you very much, Tsunami. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Spirit to go up against LGD. And my goodness, Fog,
what a blessing.
What some kind of hero player combinations we've got coming out. Indeed, as was hyped up, the Collapse Magnus. But over on the side of LGD, the Tinker. There's been so many games, so many drafts in this tournament that a lot of people have felt that maybe it was the time to bring it out. It didn't happen, but it's happening now. And Fog, do they have the answer for this Nothing to Say Tinker from the side of Spirit? Can they deal with it?
Oh, could be some limited answers, but if anything they do have is base control and base defense. There's skewers, there's an ET to hold high ground, there's tidal waves and whatnot too. I think we're in for an absolute treat. Who knows which way this one's going to go, but all I know is it's going to be a fun one.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at both drafts, what do you feel that both teams have really kind of gone for with their approach to this game?
We just heard it right there from Silent. I think it's a lot of comfort, right? Comfort, but also definitely a lot of heroes that are really popular currently at the moment. But you see Yotoro's bringing out his Terrorblade, which he hasn't been playing as much as some of the other carries. And of course, NTS playing his Tinker. I think it is just these two teams. They know a lot about each other, and we're going to see that quickly defined inside this game.
Absolutely. We'll see how well Lyle can do in the matchup here against Nothing to Say Tinker. And sort of beyond the laning stage, who's going to be the hero that has the answer to lock Nothing to Say down and stop him from being able to freely jump around the team fights in the later stages of the game?
Yeah, because overall, you tend to see the Spirit heroes used to be the answer, of course, for the Tinker. Even the Zeus, of course, would have his merit. But overall, in this game, looking at Spirit, the catching for this Tinker could be difficult. They have the ET Spirit, probably one of the best scouting tools, and the Kunkka in particular to catch this Tinker, but could fall into some issues. Nothing to say. It's a Nothing to Say Tinker, right? So if he's able to get away with it, he will take over this map. And they have a lot of aggressive potential they can do with Global. They have an AA as well with this Tinker too, so it's got to be a lot of damage that they can have in that early mid game.
And looking at the side lane matchups, what do you think we're going to get out of this bottom one? The classic sort of CK AA safe lane duo from Shiro and YU Smile going up against the signature, the Collapse Magnus, which will be backed up by Mira's Shadow Demon. Anybody going to have difficulties down this bottom lane? Is there kill potential for either of the sides?
That's a good question. Overall, CK, I don't think has really had any difficult times, as we're saying. This new top,
trying to make a bit of a chase down on towards him. They could put the meta for that one, but New's fine.
Zoning him away, though.
Still going to take a few extra punches here from Eposhka. Well, backups in from Planet, maybe just a bit of a bait as New. He's ready to turn with Planet and start to get aggressive over towards the Elder Titan. They're in with the first stomp, follow up with the Who Stomp. They've got the burst. They'll find first blood. As LGD bait Eposhka perfectly.
Nice play from Planet. Sometimes you do see, these 4 positions or these greedy supports. They tend to just hit the creeps when something like this has happened. Planet immediately runs to his buddy, so quick little identification, they can go for that kill. Yotoro does get pretty much every single last hit out of it there, but a good kill for this Centaur to start off.
Yeah, and that was the first usage of the meta, so there'll be this long period now where New and Planet, unlikely to feel under any sort of heat themselves, they'll be feeling very solid in the lane. And Eposhka Just have to be very careful with his positioning. With a bit of an advantage, they'll get off that kill. They could look to go again if Miposhka gets too sort of ahead of himself.
No, absolutely. We haven't seen too much of the ET, right? I think it was only 9 Pandas who've been playing it too much here, but you can understand the idea what they want from it. I think T was talking a lot on the panel about just trying to stall, get that farm up. It's a very, very farm-heavy team that Team Spirit's looking for this time around. And it's a lineup that can stall forever. You get a stomp on one person when they're trying to push at some point. You get the skewers back in the base, the tidal waves, etc. So
I'm talking about stalling, you know, this T, we've seen some incredibly long games come out. If this was one to go to the later stages, who's going to have the better job of stalling and carrying out this game through the later portions?
Spirit has a pretty scary one, but it's going to be the test too, because the Tinker, if he's at a point where he's just absolutely out of control, he can just take over everything.
He can 1v5.
And it's nothing to say, so definitely potential for him having that if he gets off to a good start. And so far, it is pretty good. Having a very good matchup here versus Laurel, but Laurel is handling it. 16-3, 17-4, pretty much dead even.
Yeah, they're both basically free farming the mid lane, pushing it back and forth. So no one getting shut out completely at that one. Top lane, bit of aggression here is New, trying for the setup. They've got the Ink Swell up with the Stomp.
Ooh.
Coming nicely from Miposhka. Holding you back, and not able to get the Ink Swell pop onto Yatoro. Still bringing this terribly incredibly low. New's going to be able to close it with a It didn't matter that they didn't connect with the Ink Swell. They still managed to take Yatoro down.
Great plays from New. Lacking a little bit on the last hits, but getting these kills, it's going to set him up for a pretty damn early Vanguard. He's actually buying the boots, so looking for more aggression in this lane. I mean, I like it. It's a lot of magic damage up here versus this squishy Terrorblade.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty frightening for Spirit, right? They're losing heroes, despite the fact that LGD didn't need to hit all the spells.
Exactly.
It's a scary part of the map already in the first few minutes. This top lane for Team Spirit, they've got to be more careful and perhaps need to have that extra backup come in if LGD try for that sort of play again.
Quick moves for the runes. Mira looking to set up perhaps onto Nothing to Say. A rotation that's probably unexpected here.
See if they've got the damage. Set up into the Torrent. Has Nothing to Say. He's got the laser at the ready. Lars still has the X mark, but backup's in from White Mark. Gets the drag back with the X mark.
One more poison.
There's a lot of damage that's going to be coming in on this Tinker. It's not enough to pop him though. Nothing to Say. Manages to escape. The attempt unsuccessful by Spirit.
I think the blood grenade was off the mark there.
I think it didn't connect.
I don't think it connected. I think if it hits, it's very likely to get the kill.
It would have been very close.
Yeah, it would have been close. Good attempt there from Mira. An unexpected gank. I don't think they saw that one coming, but that's the beauty of the Shadow Demon. I think that's maybe also part of the reason, besides, of course, Kunkka being so popular, but this hero stacks. This hero's good to gank with most of his cores. I mean, yeah, with the Magnus and with that Kunkka, it's definitely set up.
A close start. Despite the kills that LGD have been able to pick up, as you can see on the last hits, it's not shaking up Team Spirit. Team Spirit 3 cores, slightly ahead at this stage right now. Let's collapse. He's more than happy to be left on his own down here. Mira can continue to roam the map right now. This Magnus in a position where he'll be under no sort of threat really from this laning stage unless they bring in additional members, which is unlikely. I think the focus from LGD very much going to be towards this top lane, getting the pressure onto the Terrorblade and just making sure they have that backup when required.
Look at this again. It's big damage.
It's set up with the combo onto Yatoro. It's easily enough. As New takes him down. Not an easy lane as we're seeing here for the Terrorblade. You know, Yatoro, an absolute master on this hero, but getting caught out by LGD's combo.
And he's overall a pretty squishy hero throughout this game versus all the magical bursts that they're going to be having super early in the game, right? That's the reason that the Tinker gets picked up. If Yatoro gets off to a slow start,
yeah, that's rough.
It'd be hard for him to catch back up. The other thing about the Tinker is that people used to talk about, it's not just that you have this big burst, being able to find this Terrorblade, it's also you just clear the illusions. So TB thrives on being able to farm the map without showing himself. Tinker can easily just show up, wipe those illusions out, constrict the farm too, so... Yeah, tough start for Yatoro New. He's been the one to watch for me these last few games. His Brewmaster took over, his Night Stalker as well, and now his Centaur is off to a phenomenal start.
At the least, you know, obviously a Terrorblade, Yatoro, he's on a hero that can absolutely back up and recover through through the farm and from the jungle. But not the kind of start he would have hoped to have had. Still trying to hover around this top lane, but it's getting scarier and scarier for Spirit to be up there.
I mean, they've already started moving heroes. They move Y top, so they have the 3 top, and then they have the CK and a 1v1 for Magnus versus Magnus. That's fine for CK.
They're going to try and step in from Miposhka. This time, TP backup will be coming in. Lal ready to try and help turn things around, but New, he's in with those.
He still gets the kill.
Able to just take the kill. There's nothing they can do to stop New in that attempt. See if they can hold him back at all. I mean, Lyle's looking towards him, but
he's just walking away.
He's going to be able to walk it off. Lyle's not going to be able to throw anything down onto the Centaur. He's just getting away with everything in this top lane New.
And it's a cool approach. I feel like I feel like in almost every one of these games, people just default a lot of times. Like, oh, I'm having good lane, I go Vanguard, you can't kill me. No, Nu's like, I'm going phase boots, I'm going ring out, I'm playing the aggressive Centaur, and so far, look at that differential he has, 1,000 gold over.
Yeah, I think an exciting start to the game. You can see already in the net worth. This is very much going to be down to the off-laners to see what both of them can do. New coming in with a hot start through this early laning stage. See in the mid, they'll get the setup. Stomp into the boat.
Is it enough, though?
They want to turn and get the laser off onto Lyle. No further hits coming in, but the X-Mark is still there. Now the TP backup comes into play. LGD wanting to try and do their best to keep nothing to stay safe, and it will work. This Tide of Spirit can't go in any further. You see Collapse has also swung across, but the silence was there immediately. Stampede comes out from New. LGD able to separate themselves from Team Spirit's attempts.
All the little things mattering. Raindrop and a bracer. Maybe not something you expect to see on the Tinkers too much, but nothing to say he knows. Just be a little bit tankier versus this burst as Laurel.
That should be all right here, Planet. Just throwing out a blood grenade for a bit of fun.
And as we know, there's a lot of aggression going on so far for LGD. Lanes are looking good, but as Panel said, and as we see, it's a greedy draft that Spirit is setting themselves up for. And looking at the stacks, they're getting them prepped. I think this is what, a quad hard camp stamp or something like that at the moment, set up inside that triangle for the Kunkka.
Yeah.
So they will have these recovery outlets.
No, for sure. If Spirit can calm things down even just a little bit, very likely that you're going to see your Toro's Terrorblade get back up to the top spot in net worth.
As long as they don't lose these stacks. I mean, they might have to go clear them pretty soon just in case of anything, because if a Tinker walks over there, it gets cleared in no time. Yeah, lanes, I mean, they've kind of broken the lanes a little bit here. LGD, with this dominance from New, they're going to force your Toro a bit to the jungle there, and the supports are having to make these moves around to get these stacks around to try to fix things. And they're going to work on those stacks.
In terms of Collapse's progress, he's of course going to go straight for that Blink Dagger, 1,300 towards it, so should be on track.
Could be in trouble though.
Having it a good timing. They're in with the silence, and with the three of them, there's a huge amount of damage that Collapse he cannot withstand. LGD
clean, taking
kills wherever they want right now, 5-0.
Hey, Planet making it happen. All 5 kills are at the back of this Grimstroke so far. Inkswell connecting perfectly. He's got level 3 Inkswell already too. I mean, this is very scary how much magic damage they have. I mean, Nu's gonna have such an early Blink Dagger too. He's just omit. He's like, screw it. I don't even need the Vanguard. He's gonna have it at such an early time for these early aggressive moves, and they're just continuing to pick up the pace here.
It's gotten to the point now where Spirit, they're not going to be showing any faces up on this top lane.
Unless they bring a lot of numbers. But Collapse, he actually did port down bottom, so TP will not be available for the Magnus to be able to join if there's a big battle committed up top. Looks like Laurel was able to sneak into the enemy triangle a little bit here. I think he stole a double stack, it looks like, so a little bit extra gains for him.
Now Poshka's got to be careful. He's hiding in the trees, trying to soak up some XP.
He's got to be so cautious. Stampede's at the ready.
They'll slowly but surely siege this top tier 1 tower, LGD. Maposhka, he'll start to back off. He does not want to be around here. Too much of a push. They've got the vision on him.
All right, that's pretty much the Blink Dagger going to be finished up for New right after that tower goes down. Trying to give levels, the AA. Why? Trying to get a little bit in the mid lane, but seems like he knows something's up, having that ward on the right side. Does see the Kunkka and the Shadow Demon set up. Playing far left, trying to get this level 6 online.
Well, he's got the DD in the bottle, so good amount of burst if he can find some sort of setup around this mid.
Laurel, how close to 6 on AA? Oh my goodness, so close. If Y is 6 there, that just is probably a dead Kunkka. Laurel has to be a little bit careful.
Planet.
Okay.
He's going for the player.
By himself.
He's up by the Stampede. He's able to close in onto Maposhka. That's going to be Maposhka going
Look
down.
at him go.
Another kill here for LGD as a whole. They're just 6-0. Spirit still struggling to find anything so far in terms of kills from this early game. Toro, he's getting bullied out of this top lane. Has to TP out of there.
I mean, New is just bringing the action to him. Him and Planet, right? The 6 kills, they're involved in 5, and then 6 on the counterpart, their Planet. Super active so far. And you see the scans are coming out already. LGD, they're taking notes. They're like, all right, well, Spirit, they're going to back up to their triangle. Could see some early contest come out here. They're actually just going to throw a casual AA blast to scout and potentially snipe someone. Won't connect, but a nice attempt.
Yep, they're going to need time, and you know, Toro obviously with his build, he's approached that, has the Midas on the Terrorblade. He just wants to be hitting the creeps without any interruption. Well, we'll see if the rest of Spirit can create that sort of space for him. Collapse has got the solid timing on his Blink Dagger. He's keeping it hidden for now on the Courier. We'll see if they try and make some sort of move around this reveal of this pickup.
It does feel complicated, though, especially with Toro going down full greed route for Midas. All of the heroes on LGD are going to be ready to fight at all times.
They want to try and get something mid. TP over to the mid lane. Blink Dagger at the ready from Collapse. Over the jump, gets the Steward back. Straight underneath the tower. Taunt will miss, but it doesn't matter. They'll still get the kill. A solid Blink Dagger reveal there from Collapse.
He is the one who kind of has to bring back that early game a little bit for them. 6-1. He finds the biggest catch he can. Another one potentially too.
Yeah, should manage to find this one here. Exmo straight back into the boat. It's going to be a couple of kills for Spirits. They start to get themselves on the board.
Nicely done. Nuke does have that Blink Dagger finished, but as you said, you know, Yotaro, he's just chilling on the sidelines. Quick little RP usage, and they're back off to getting that farm. So for Spirit, and it's going to be a lot of that this game. Getting a quick kill, backing up farming, and it's going to be up to LGD to punish this farm, to find these heroes and hunt.
I mean, how
they are looking for.
How easy is it for LGD's heroes to hunt down around that sort of tier 2 area top? Is it easy for them to set up to try and get the Terror Blade, or is this a pretty safe part of the map for Spirit to hold for Yotaro to keep farming up here?
It'll probably be pretty safe for some time, especially until they can get out that mid tower. Because there is a lot of counter gank. That's the one thing that Spirit's draft really thrives on, especially for like later stages and stuff like that. ET, Stomp, Magnus, and SD save, so multiple different things they can do to protect each other. If a kill doesn't happen instantly, it could get quickly turned. 6-2, good gold now. Spirit, those stacks starting to work out. 3 cores at 6K. And TS has been slowed down significantly just off that 1 kill.
Fully set up around this bottom tier 1, really, Spirit, just in case LGD were going to group up and try for a tier 1 tower push.
I mean, they're going to have RP back up in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, they're ready
very ready for this fight. Yep. And they will have pretty decent damage, at least because the ET does have okay levels. Mipush has hit 6, and Laurel is 11, so if they do catch anybody near tower, very likely they will just pop.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they may have got that tier 1 on the top lane pretty early, LGD, but finding any of the other towers, it's not going to be an easy ordeal.
No, they need to fight for it. They need to get a pick off first, ideally, or get some vision behind tower. They can't just go straight for these towers versus this Magnus.
It's going to be down to if Nuke can get the jump here. Smoke up from the 3 of them, Nuke.
Instant ward down.
And the 2 supports, they've got the Inkswell buff, they'll go for the jump on Miposhka.
Quick and easy.
See if they can turn this into anything else.
Laurel is immediately rotating over, has a shield rune as well, too. This is hard
straight at them.
He is incredibly tanky. They do not have the damage for him at this point, if he gets the shield rune off.
Now they'll back off, they'll get the kill. And they'll pull back here, LGD.
They're actually going to give Nothing to Say the Wisdom Rune as well, too. I think he was perhaps farming the left side, but they have to give him anything he can just to get him boosted up a little bit. And he's going to, I mean, at the moment, he's got the Aghanims queued up, so cool. Does feel pretty awesome versus a lot of these tanky heroes and stuff like that, right? So besides just the Terror Blade, of course, that counter, but yeah, cool.
The game resuming at this sort of pace, I think
Spirit will be happy.
Yotaro that is indeed going to be in a very happy place. Getting to freely catch up here in the farm and at this stage, and will continue to be. You know, this is one of those games where he's going to probably be the only man with the Midas.
Does feel
in the long run, that should be set to pay off unless LGD can continue to put the pressure on.
Hey, Spirit, ready to go again. Collapse, he's got the RP. They're hunting. They see the courier moving toward top.
Might have to just settle for an AA.
Nah, they don't have to use RP. It's a pretty easy kill.
Not the biggest they would hope for.
Get Yotaro the kill. Yep. Perfectly set up.
Quick move towards the twin gates, maybe.
Ooh.
See if they can make a play down bottom as well off the remainder of the smoke. They've still got a few seconds left onto it. New, he's close to showing himself on the wave.
Oh, this would be huge if they're able to.
And they're bringing further TPs in around the tier 1. It's a tanky hero. Can they get any sort of setup? Maybe Mirror with the disruption, but not New. He's already out of the area. Knows it's a scary place to be. Look at the TPs coming in. In fact, LGD bringing 3 further TPs in on this one. They're happy to try and fight this. They get the setup here, straight away onto Mirror. They'll find the Shadow Demon.
The Battle of Vision as soon as somebody shows himself. And that ward will actually expire in 30 seconds, so it won't actually be a D-ward. Quick, easy kill.
Yeah, it's all right. Making the most of it, though, knowing that with that sort of focus down bottom, he was able to push forward an extra couple of waves on the top lane, get some pressure onto the tier 1 tower, so maximizing what he can, even in these scarier parts of the map.
Yeah, and I'm watching it. Let's actually check to see if Collapse was trying to throw any powers on him as that Meadow was wearing down. I think he is maybe looking to do so, but still looking for plays. Collapse, he's constantly looking for something.
I mean, sorry, LGD, we continually see them grouped up pretty heavily. I mean, at the moment, right, we've got 4 of them around this mid lane.
I'd imagine for them, they're looking to accelerate a little bit more.
I think so,
at least
right?
With that CK with his timing, because right now he's absolutely a menace. He's got this Echo Saber and Armlet finished up, so if he joins with this team, he's quite a bit stronger than Yotaro if he joins in.
Yeah, you've got to imagine they want to fight. They don't want to sit back, LGD.
No, I would imagine not. The Shard is also finished. Planet bought it right away at 15 minutes, so a very, very strong dispel, especially versus something like RP. If he's able to be in a good position on this Grimstroke, he could stop a lot of aggression that comes out from Team Spirit. I'm going to keep my eyes on Planet because he was quite a big difference maker yesterday as well, too, on his Rubik. The spell steals he was able to do. He's been phenomenal, so I'm going to be looking at him.
Collapse. Ready to go. Smoke up between himself and Mira.
Okay, let's see what
He's got decent damage now with the Echo Saber completed over the Blink Dagger.
All 5 heroes are set up in the area as well. Can't quite find it.
Could be a little bit of a bait. They could look to jump again. And LGD, they are prepared for this one, but Spirit, they have the numbers. Lal, trying to fish for something here with the turret. Not going to find anything.
They have ward vision inside that lane, so they do see every time that LGD does step up anew. He's actually making the first move.
And we'll see in fact Collapse. He's able to get the jump even before that gets the drag back on the way. You smother, bring down the A.
Laurel's gone.
Spirit getting a bit split there with the focus heading over towards that jump that they made around the mid, but indeed they left their Kunkka vulnerable on the top lane.
And he had vision too. They have that lane ward, so he saw it completely coming in, but just got caught off guard. Maybe just the communication that was happening on the side. Gets caught off guard. It's a big kill, slowing down Laurel's momentum. And I believe, what, did Shiro get the last? Yes, Shiro got the last hit as well too, so bumped up a little bit more.
CK, Shiro hitting fantastic timings.
He's huge. He really is quite large, and he's always going to have that buff up, of course, from that Grimstroke.
LGD, once again, everybody to the mid lane. Really trying to look for these constant and consistent fights.
Hey, look, Miposhka.
They'll get the jump. New in with the burst. There'll be defensive disruption from Mira, but there'll be no getting out of here for Miposhka. Easy support kills that LGD can continue to find.
Just continuous. It's new in Planet every single time, making the setup happen. He's big. He almost has the heart finished up on the Centaur already. Once he disassembles the Vanguard, he's pretty much going to have it finished. Gonna be tough for them to, fully bring him down. ET Splitter, of course, is probably gonna be one of their better damage functions. It's just that max HP damage, but sometimes it's pretty difficult to keep them always in line with it.
Yeah, Shiro, he can really get involved.
He's
turns up, takes the mid tier 1 tower with the BKB complete.
Okay.
Very little chance that Spirit can take him down unless they catch him completely on his own and cooldown.
Yeah, and immediately just rebuys his Echo Saber too. Yeah, he's having a phenomenal start here.
This is the timing for the CK. We'll see how much LGD can get done around this.
Right now, they're not playing like super rushed by any means. I'm sure they're like, we also scale really hard. They always will have this Tinker versus that TB matchup, so he is getting closer and closer to that Aghanim. Maybe that'll be the call where they start taking over the map a little bit more, because it's pretty even in terms of gold so far.
Zero.
Yatoro.
Gonna find Yatoro here with the opening. They're gonna have an Ice Blast flurry as well. Straight in on top of the tower, but Yatoro, he's gonna be going down.
Uh-oh.
Did not expect LGD to be there, Yatoro, but they find him as he walks straight into them completely on his own.
Shiro gets handed a massive kill, and it is right as the Roshan is repositioning down toward bottom too, so they could consider even looking for it.
I guess, in that sort of situation, what do you imagine was going through Yatoro's mind? He just didn't expect them to be playing around this part of the map?
I guess not, right? Just got caught off guard. LGD has been incredibly active the way that they're swinging around the map with the supports and with new. It seems like 3 or 4 heroes are constantly together. Just Kite's caught off guard, and now, that Roche is gone.
Yeah, that was
gone in seconds.
And it was sort of the first time he'd really left his half of the map. Yeah. I think Yatoro won't be doing that again anytime soon.
And he went down the S and Y route. Pretty interesting one. Quite different than I feel like we usually do see on the Terrorblade.
Spirit will be able to secure themselves there.
Mira?
It's going to be fine.
My God, he had the Healing Lotus.
The shout out from Miposhka's Elder Titan. The Aghanim's done. They didn't commit to finish the Roshan. We'll still sit there.
No, they didn't actually. Okay, good call.
Down to about half HP and then decided to pull back from it.
I guess they got a little bit scared because they didn't see exactly where all the heroes were. Okay. Aghanim's now finished. So for Laurel, big power spike now. He can look to get involved a little bit more for these team fights. But so far, it's been, again, just very farmy from Spirit. 11-4. And now for LGD, Aghanim's finished up for Tinker's. Yep, just still feels like they're going to be moving around at least at these 2 supports, looking for potential setups.
There we go. Smoke
okay, Spirit's going to do it first.
Spirit. See if Yatoro wants to get involved or if he'll hold back to farm. For now, it doesn't look like he's too keen in joining the smoke. Does have the Eagle song done.
Who are they going to find, though?
He's going to show himself at least the illusions around the mid. Maybe see if he can get some sort of a bait. We'll join the smoke now, but he's ready to reveal. It's a full bait here with a push from the Terrorblade.
Okay. who they are able to grab. I mean, he's walking up. 2,800 HP Centaur.
It's a hard one to go on, even if they get the vision upon him.
Especially if they don't know where Planet is in particular, right? This Inkswell, it could just stop the entire aggression that comes out from them. If they can find him,
try and get the grab.
One.
They do indeed. They'll get the Grimstone, drag him back. The Stampede's there, but the Ice Blast returns.
Two men done.
The jumps in with a Who Stomp. He's going to be on a burst of both low. Collapses out. And Lyle, he's going to be in a whole world of trouble as well. The BKB's pop. They push up for the Kunkka, take him down.
They
lose New in return. And a 2 for 2, and it is LGD. They're able to take down 2 cores.
Yatoro gets time to farm though, right? So it's always like these positives and negatives they're going to get out of these smokes, even if they do lose some heroes.
Closing in on the butterfly. Very close to having that one complete at least.
And it's good that Laurel actually got the Torrent Storm off. It was very close to him actually not getting that one off, and then they probably don't get that return kill. But even new with that heart, you saw the damage that comes through. It's quite a lot that actually blew him up. Now CK items, a full Shadow Blade now for Shiro. So the hunting is going to continue. I feel like for him, he's just going to continue to look to get involved. And a lot of these kills could just get popped if he was able to find them on his own. That plus an AA Blaster plus a Tinker rotation.
Now they'll head back to deal with the Tormentor on their side of things.
A Planet, careful. My goodness. He'll get a pretty nice one there. Why You Smile, able to finish his. On top of also now having his Yule Scepter. We've been seeing a lot more Yules, but I think it's also because of the rise of these Kunkkas and stuff like that. It's going to be very nice for him, and also versus the Magnus, since I believe he did go for the Echo Saber on Collapse. So if they do have vision as the fight starts, it could be difficult for Collapse to do the usual, harpoon skewer kind of plays. He gets Yulesed up, they can just fully go for him.
Yeah, he's going to be trying to get that BKB online next, but it's going to take him a bit of time.
He will need it to be able to get that type of setup for his team, but still 13-6. Gold continue to be very, very close, but LGD feel that they're probably feeling pretty good with getting away with this NTS Tinker so far, not getting caught out too much.
And we're sort of in that bottom spot there, the lowest of the cores for a while, but now he's caught up to both Collapse and New, making the right sort of progress here on his trajectory towards getting the BKB done himself, so he can jump around these fights without the threat of getting caught in a stray Torrent from these Torrent Storms from Lyle.
Yes, that's the big thing, right? He absolutely needs this BKB versus Torrent Storm. The tip comes out. Didn't see what that one was for.
Your blood runs cold.
See DD in the river here. It's underneath the ward of Spirit, so I'll be aware that it gets picked up if they go for a play with this one.
Shiro swinging around for it with his Shadow Blade. They're instantly smoking with it too. They want something, but it got seen. Like you said, Spirit, they were completely aware of it, so everyone positioned around the area.
At least, even if he was invis. See if LGD can still catch them by surprise.
Oh, the big clash looks like it's going to happen here. Planet, he also buys a Blink Dagger for positioning on this Grimstroke. Was able to get the big jump.
And Spirit, they should be full defensive right now. They know that LGD is going to be looking for this sort of move.
They get the scan. They know where they are. Miposhka in position to break it.
Yeah, maybe they'll just allow support to get caught here.
Oh, Laurel, be careful. He's got Tidal Wave. They have a ward on the high ground. Perhaps they could fish for somebody.
Oh, you smell getting the vision set up for themselves.
They're going to go for it.
They're going to get the skewer back as well. Up towards New.
Instant Inkswell.
New is going to be able to pop the Stampede still. Gets himself back up to the high ground. Both teams holding back from one another. Is there any further catch? Lyle trying to close the gap over towards New. They get a reflection out on towards the Centaur.
I mean, Spirit wants to catch something here.
It's
they
hard
use
to
so much.
He's going to be able to wrap around for the back lines. He gets straight in on top towards them, but the Stewar's there once more. Collapse getting Shiro under the tab. The BKB's popped by the CK. Shiro steps back. Soulbind.
He's stuck.
Holding together.
Big stun.
In with the Who Stomp, the double edge on the both of the bursting and throwing down over the defensive disruption. Comes out from Mirror. They'll finish at the Kunkka.
Yatoro's gone.
Gets blown up here by the burst of the laser. Nothing to say, finding that huge kill, taking out the Terrorblade in the midst of the fight. Both teams to lose 2.
The mind games from these fights too. Spirit had used so much. They had meta pop. They used literally all their ultimates. They keep chasing forward. But LGD able to get the big cleanup on these 2 cores.
And even around sort of their own tier 2 tower, it's so hard for Collapse to get that kind of start to the fight that he hoped for. He's getting these skewers onto New, he's getting these skewers onto Shiro, but neither hero feels good to start the action off.
I mean, the way it started was awkward too. The X comes out, they skewer, but the Inkswell was already put on New right at the start, so the Dispel comes out, things get very, very weird. And yeah, at this point, Spirit, look at how much they've already used. Meta was used, RP was used, quite a bit was actually used before that.
Yeah, full chase on towards New, and at this point, it's the fact that they've kind of forgotten about Shiro. He just is able to get this opening immediately on towards Miposhka, who will get that extra bit of time with the fact that Collapse drags Shiro away. But at this point, Soulbind out into the 2 of them. New, he's hitting these Who Stomps every single time.
huge connections. And even the double leg, of course, connecting on both there with that soulbind. It's nice. Constant, like 2-for-2 trades. The gold continues to just be
They want to keep it going, LGD. They do not want to allow any time for Yatoro to get his items on this Terrorblade.
They know there's downtime. And for Spirit, they need every single spell. RP 5 seconds.
They'll find Maposhka out on his own.
And that's right next to the Roche. Now they can likely force it.
Yeah, they're going to go for this for sure.
Instant Phantasm. Oh, Shiro had just hit 18 off that kill too, so actually gets the level 3 Phantasm. Sends an illusion to the wave. Should be able to finish it off this time. No ET to scout.
They've got great team fight, but yeah, even as a support, Maposhka is a crucial part of that. And with him gone, Team Spirit won't look to contest this Roshan.
I mean, Maposhka really is the biggest scouting element that they have to be able to find this Tinker, find these initiations early on. Without just Collapse YOLO blinking in. Which Collapse can't now do also. He does have the BKB finish, so a little bit more liberty for the Magnus to pick and choose how he goes in. But now, into that Aegis.
See how much LGD can get done with this Aegis. Tier 2's on the horizon.
How many Philosopher Stones did we get in this game also? Okay, looks like all the supports got Phillies. So we have 4 Philosopher Stones in. Greed is good.
It's all right. He's got his BKB done. So really starting to beef up on the Terrorblade.
I mean, they have what? Is that the double? Okay, double BKB. Laurel not quite having his just yet, but definitely going to protect quite a bit versus this control that we've seen from New in particular.
LGD sort of split themselves back up despite getting this Aegis. I'm just trying to work their way towards their next items. We've got the BKB, just a recipe or so away from New.
Yep.
And the Centaur to have a much easier time just kind of getting him with the Who Stomps and being able to reset and looking to come back into the fights with further jumps.
They are grouping up though. Looks like they are potentially going for a smoke out here. Poshka in a very deep position. I mean, look at this warding expedition from him. Oh my goodness.
Getting away with it.
By himself, runs in and gets a pretty beautiful ward down. That's going to scout quite a lot from LGD, and that is not going to be expected at all. So could even catch maybe a smoke that comes out. LGD looking to perhaps get more assertion on the map. They actually buy a gem pretty early. I think we've been seeing quite a bit of 20 to 30 minute gems, but wanting to take advantage of this Aegis timing perhaps with this.
I think they need to. I mean, just Yatoro, he's
like
really scaling up to be an absolute beast on the Terrorblade. Top CS right now and very much closing in on Toshiro's CK's net worth.
Who knows what could go down? I mean, there's a Tinker versus the Terrorblade always, so as big as that TB gets, it can fall very, very hard.
But, not necessarily in a point where he's kind of zooming past everyone in the net worth, right? Has been held back, still in sort of that mid-area farm. He's level 20, getting the Eon Disc next, making sure that there's very little chance that Spirit can lock down and kill the Tinker in the team fights by going for that BKB into the Eon. Of course, the team fights will be one thing, and the high ground push, that's going to be quite the other. We don't see a lot of Tinker. We have the first Tinker's appearance that we're seeing here at this international. Pushing into this hero, it's never easy.
I mean, pushing into Tinker is never going to be easy. Pushing into Magnus Elder Titan's not going to be easier. So we could
both sides.
Strap yourselves in. Could be in for a long one.
Spirit, they're on the hunt. Poshka, Marlin Collapse. Going to do a quick sweep of LGD's jungle, see what they can find.
Still not quite a BKB finished up on Laurel, though, so does probably have to be a little bit careful how far forward he puts himself, at least at the start of the fight.
Doesn't look like they'll find anyone down here. They pop a scan around the creep camps to see if anybody's stepping around this area from LGD, but LGD completely on the other half of the map.
A lot of dodging going out here. I mean, Poshka's ward is still alive somehow, even though the gem from the AA was out. He wasn't able to find that one just yet.
BKB done for New. We've got their heart. It's completed as well for Shiro. Looking towards the AC next.
Oh, I mean, levels across the board still feel... Everything just feels very, very close. It's going to be some crazy team fights that are going to dictate this. Does feel like. Shiro, soon 20. Starting to hit tier 2.
Yeah, have to play that bit more aggressive.
Yep. Minute 40 seconds.
No signs of a response yet from Spirit.
Now look at these. The LGD supports are looking to play so far back in these team fights. Both of them actually finish up a later than usual Aether Lens. You see Planet and both Wayu Smile looking for that. He had the Aghanims queued up for quite some time on this Grimstroke, but looks like they want to switch up the way they play their style. Just look to play behind those tanky cores.
They're They're going to go through the twin gates, try and get this play where they sort of come in from behind, who's potentially pushing out on the bottom.
This could catch at least somebody off guard here, but oh my.
So they can find, they won't walk into Mirror quite yet.
How many times has this happened?
I mean, both supports here, by the looks of it, are going to get away from this. But Poshka and Mirror on either side of this move that LGD were trying to come at them with.
Ships passing in the night.
Silver Edge done for Yatoro. He's in that top spot now in the network. And unless LGD finds some further fights, Yatoro, he is going to start zooming ahead of everybody, Shiro included.
Yeah, their greed is definitely starting to pay off big time here. Yatoro. And this is going to be such a crazy, crazy collapse of everything together. But then greed, of course, 4K lead.
Oh, they didn't find a fight with the Aegis. They're about to have it expire here from Shiro. The question is if they want to try and find something without that.
And they'll finally find that ward that was placed. I mean, that lasted almost 4 minutes, that ward that the Post was able to sneak in there. So they got quite a bit of information, you can say, from it.
Where do they go? What's the plan?
It's been pretty calm for, when is the last time there was a kill? It's been, what, like 6 minutes or something?
Who is feeling more calm in this sort of situation? Is it Spirit or is it LGD? Or do you think it's pretty equal?
I think they're both probably feeling pretty good, right? I mean, they have an NTS Tinker scaling versus a Terrorblade, but Yatoro's probably telling his team also, guys, I am massive. You know, I'm getting away with murder. I'm getting away with so much farm on the map here, but it's really going to be up to how those fights be dictated. Who gets the jump? And even then, even later on, are they going to be able to even break base out of it too? Not easy for either side. Little bits of vision. Team Spirit trying to reclaim those.
Both teams close to one another.
Toro leading the charge.
Trying to get some vision himself here off the back of the Silver Edge, leading forward. And once again, LGD up to the twin gate. Or at least ready to hold around this area. Gem purchase now here from Poshka.
All of it really does feel like it's going to be down to that one big jump. Whoever gets the vision, whoever gets that control, whoever finds one of these squishier heroes is nothing to say going to be able to use a rally of team fight, like rally of spells in a long duration team fight, or is he just going to die right at the start of it?
These moments, you know, Yatoro just item after item, getting very close to being able to get the nullifier. Now pretty much is his 6th item. Already here, 34 minutes on the Terrorblade. That sort of laning stage, nothing more than a distant memory here. As the full recovery has been made by Yatoro.
I'm just running as a unit. Look at how they're just running together across the map. All 5 heroes of Spirit. Wherever Yatoro goes, they go. Here comes LGD. Shiro.
Seeing what sort of catch he can get.
I mean, Mira is pretty far up right now.
Scanner's here.
It's on an illusion.
Indeed onto an illusion. They're going to be aware of that by the looks of it. They won't try chasing with Yatoro. He's going to walk into the midst of them. Actually, Mira. So already the support to be caught is just Mira for now. Yatoro's going to try and fight. He's trying to lead in onto a support himself. They'll turn to get the blast.
He's isolated.
Punch the BKB, but the physical coming in. He's able to turn, gets the Sunder off. As he'll be able to help bring down one more. He's still being completely focused though by Shiro. The stun comes in. Yatoro is ready to turn back away as he gets out with the invis. Shiro controlled by the top.
He's going down.
Q is there for collapse. They take down Shiro and Yatoro survives.
Oh my God. Was that like what actually did so much damage? I guess it was the ET and everything in combination, but it feels like the ET actually did so much for Shiro.
I mean, it sort of seemed that there was a point towards the end of that the rest of LGD, they sort of bailed out on that. They knew that there was no saving Shiro. I think after that initial attempt where they weren't able to 100-0 Yatoro, they're sure they hit him with the blast, but of course that Sunder, it's still going to be there. Gets himself back up to full HP, and at that point, the whole move, it starts to get a bit tricky for LGD, and they end up losing their carry.
So far, I mean, NTS, he can't actually do, I feel like, what he wanted to in that last fight. He got completely ignored, just actually unable to blow up any of the targets. Who was actually holding the gem there? I think, okay, Neo actually kept it, so LGD did not lose their gem there, but pretty decisive fight there from Spirit this time around.
Yeah, big step for Yatoro. Getting in and getting out of that one. The team bailing him out with the multiple Glimmer Capes, I believe, as well, allowing him to just weave in and out.
And that was what I think is... Yeah, the first BKB reveal too, right? So that long duration one where they can't actually break through him.
That was the money for the nullifier, and now well on the way to being able to pick up that blink dagger.
They're playing it cool and calm on Spirit, waiting for the action to come to them. They have such a good lineup to be able to go for those counter initiation plays. And, I mean, they're ready. They're ready again. 30 seconds till that RP is going to be coming back up, but still positioned around Yatoro.
They might still be able to burst this Terrorblade, but they have to stop him from getting the Sunder off. Every time that Sunder's there, getting him from 100 to 0 twice, it's probably not going to happen right now.
I think we're going to... Okay, yeah, I was just thinking. They had the E-Blade queued up on the Tinker for a long time. I think the Hex is necessary. I think they have to have it. Yeah, they have to have that 100 to 0 control to be able to bring down this TB before he's able to get Sunder.
Blast coming in towards the pit. Spirit holding this area. LGD, they are approaching.
LGD still does have vision on that right side, too.
Very close to Shiro having the AC done.
Okay.
Plunger Gold, and he'll have it.
Doesn't mean he spent all out.
Oh, that's
he does. He commits it.
That's definitely a bit of a risk. We know how quickly this Terrorblade's going to be able to push down towers if the fight goes well for Spirit.
And he also has no boots now, so could be a position where he just gets kited a lot in these next fights if he isn't able to stick on these targets.
They're going to get the Roshan here, Spirit. As LGD not able to interrupt this. Aegis now, Yatoro, so even if they are able to burst him, he's going to be back with a second life in this team fight.
That is a huge deal. And Collapse now also is going to have Lincoln, so he's going to have the freedom to always be able to get those initiations now, too. Spirit, the patience, it's working out for them so far.
LGD still not afraid to step out of their half of the map, though. Crossing the river.
How close to the Hex? Nothing to say, is getting very, very close to it.
Definitely going to be eyes on him. No, 2, 1, and 4. That's to sort of take a lot of time to catch up on the farm, but very much in a point now where it's getting to that stage where a nice bit of Tinker play can take over the team fights.
He does have to watch out, though, as you mentioned, the various saves that there is. And on top of the rum that's always going to be coming out from Laurel, which he's probably going to get off in every single one of these fights, has to watch out for these glimmers and resets as we saw in that last fight. And okay, never mind, he goes straight for the E-Blade instead.
Okay,
anyway, so
just wants to get the straight raw burst damage.
Okay.
I mean, maybe feeling, as you say, even if he's able to have the lockdown at the Hex, because of the fact that the saves are there, having that control, that's not necessarily going to get the job done. Maybe better to just focus on bursting the rest of the lineup so that they aren't alive to save and back up the Terrorblade.
The push is going to start commencing, though, and they have a lot of ways to poke. And yes, he gets caught.
High ground is advantage to collapse him in the trees. They're going to drag Banner straight in.
He just RP'd.
The BKB up with the RP's there. The damage is out for Yatoro. Nothing to say is caught.
All it takes
90.
One little catch, Collapse, no hesitation. I think going to Torrent to scout the tree line.
I think it was Lal setting things up, and now the push, it's going to be coming in.
And it's going fast, these towers. I mean, with no Tinker, there's no way to slow down.
At least there's tier 2 still up in the other 2 lanes, so they may just let this Rax go.
I mean, it's so risky. If they buy back and he dies, that could just decide the game. So they're just going to sack the Rax. But Spirit, they're lingering around. They want to go for another catch here. Collapse, he's eyeing his opportunity.
Oh, he is. You've got to be careful if you get close to the walls of your base here. Collapse will be ready to tear you out of it.
So many different ways for them to reposition on top of that tidal wave too. LGD.
It's definitely starting to look like that maybe LGD just weren't able to get enough done in the mid-game. Spirit taking over, and they get any sort of catch like this, especially if it's nothing to say, they're going to be on the verge of taking another set of racks.
He needs to be way more careful with his positioning here. But just not easy. A lot of repositioning as we see. Yatoro blinks in. Meta is wearing off, but they'll get the tier 2 and they'll be able to back off. Pretty damn good usage of that Aegis.
It really is. 9K lead now for Spirit.
They've broken one of the hardest things you can do in this patch, of course, breaking that high ground. First step.
I respect the fact that nothing to say is respawning in a few seconds. Spirit heading back to their half of the map. LGD, they're trying to chase.
The cooldowns are all coming back up, though. Meta is still on cooldown for about 30 seconds. RP's at the ready. Shiro, he's looking.
Get the pullback into the stun. We'll see a lot throw down both the defensive disruptions there to try and help Yatoro out of the combo. But the Fallen Stone comes in. Jump forward. The Toro Stone
he gets his under.
Right off the side of Yatoro. He's able to get back on the full HP. Shiro trying to TP out the BKB.
RP
is caught by the RP for Collapse. Shiro's going to be going down. They've lost the CK for 85 seconds. News surrounded here by Lal and Collapse. The tidal wave pulling it back over towards Collapse. In the river, nothing to say. Manages to finish off Mira, but they're losing 2 of their cores. Shiro and Yu taken down.
They keep Yatoro up. He gets the Sunder.
Well, nothing to say. Will manage to get out of that one.
But why? Looks like he won't.
I mean, they were so close to potentially being able to burst the Toro at the beginning of that fight, but I think sort of the straight torrent from the Torrent Storm, it caught the Tinker at the start of it. Nothing to say, tried to get in position, but as soon as he was there, he was up in the air. They get another kill on a YE Smile. It's 3 dead on LGD Spirit. They can look to push again.
I mean, so clutch by Mira. That disruption there, it makes him actually lose. He dodges his own teammate's run buff, but it gets the save potential. It's well worth it so he can get that Sunder. Just beelines it to Shiro and gets it off.
And very close towards the end of that. Maybe nothing to say. He nearly didn't get out himself.
He almost did not. And now Meta's back up. That was without Meta, this fight. Yotaro didn't even need it. Now onto high ground. Collapse 40 seconds till he's got RP, but they're still fishing.
That's all the damage they can do at Spirit. LGD 20 seconds until they've got the full squad back up.
I just, nothing to say, has to be so careful. Literally one stray spell catches him. He's very likely dead at this point. Another racks to fall.
Completely taken down as Spirit. Wow. In a very comfortable hold on the game right now. Still yet to sort of find that fight where LGD are able to set up and allow to allow this Tinker to just run rampant. It just hasn't happened.
They just don't have what feels like enough control and enough burst. They have the one stun that comes in from the Centaur, and then there's a little save that comes out from Team Spirit. Then boom, there goes your Tor, and the rest of the spells just come in. Beautiful execution so far from these two supports on Spirit, honestly. Just these little saves and resets they've been able to do with their Glimmer Capes and even disruptions.
As we're seeing, Sean Yu, he's incredibly tanky. The same to be said for Shiro, but at this point, Spirit, they absolutely have the damage to still take these beefy boys down.
They're always going to have the percentage damage that comes from the ET and just the overwhelming damage that, of course, kicks off from this Terrorblade, yeah.
We'll see where they can go.
Oh, and Collapse actually goes for even more. Even further. Yep, the Arcane Blink.
That extra little bit of a range as well can really catch you by surprise.
I look at the cooldowns as well, too. 6.2 second cooldown, Blink 7.9 second
Yeah, he's going to be jumping in, skewering you out, and then he's going to be pretty much as soon as he's done that, ready to jump back in again and skewer someone else.
Yep, fight's getting harder and harder. LGD. Who do they focus fire is the question. They have to, I mean, it feels like they have to focus fire the supports, but they have to deal with these cores as well.
I mean, I don't know, they just don't sort of have the same impact of starting a fight. It's the same strength that Spirit has. At the end of the day, this Collapse RP, it's going to reign supreme if he hits it.
I mean, the big team fight, in particular from Spirit, it's been reigning supreme.
And they're going to be able to get the opening here. They might just have to let Planet go here, LGD, as they'll start backing away. They'll let Planet go.
And another catch.
He's going to get the grab steal with the RP, straight back into the RP.
Look at this damage.
The sense on you, dead in an instant.
Can't even get out of the stun.
They can't fight them here, LGD. Spirit, too strong, ready to push the waves in.
Look at Shiro, he's looking to try to do something crazy.
So risky. He's going to try, he's going to open up on a mirror, but the Eel Disc is able to assemble it just in time. Mira's able to blink out as well. He's
alive.
The buyback will come in from you, but Mira, he walks out of it. But barely a scratch. The TP out there from Lyle. Mira also able to TP away. Nothing to say, he'll find Maposhka. But they get the majority of them out. They only lose the one of them. They force out a buyback from you. Things continuing to go in Spirit's favor massively.
It's domination. They even cut the creep wave. Yotaro just sends an illusion even after all of that too and kills every single creep in mid. All they find is the 5 position ET. Beautiful identification from Spirit.
What do LGD do? Are you setting up for the high ground? Are you continuing to just try and take your chances outside of the base?
You buy the Hex on the Tinker and you hope with this level 25 that you're going to just be able to get some consecutive back-to-back kills, but it's just not easy at this point. 30 seconds until Roche. Will NTS be able to make that magic happen with a Hex and a 25? They also do have the Aghanims on the Grimstroke, so that's, I guess, the other thing that we can look at. Will there be an enormous Dark Portrait of that Terrorblade that maybe can also reign supreme? Not an easy fight.
Yotaro. He's hovering around here.
Oh, he is.
I mean, if he catches nothing to say, he'd be ready to jump in and try and get aggressive upon him. LGD, see if they can get the catch on towards the Kunkka, but not getting tripped up. They won't catch him for now.
Spirit's just been dodging. I feel like pretty much every single movement from LGD. All the moves that they tried to make in that mid game to be able to slow down this farming draft from Spirit, just they were not able to connect.
It looks like they have complete control on the second half of this game. Team Spirit, LGD.
Look at Collapse. He's ready.
Pulled all over the place.
Blink in 2 seconds. Magic they'll back it up, but perhaps maybe setting up for top. I mean, look at your Toro and Laurel. Trying to catch this Tinker when he's doing the split push.
Yeah, they want to make sure that when they go high ground, once again, they've got all waves in good position. They don't want to allow for the split push to happen from LGD.
Roche is also up, so they have to go scout that one out. And yeah, it looks like they should be able to claim this one, but this is maybe LGD's chance to go for the fight here. I mean, they have to try something. Are they aware that it's up, though? They do have a scan. There it is, so they will know which angle of approach do they want to take. They have a ward on the far right side.
Do they want to take their chances here? The next fight, wherever they choose to take it, it may just be their last one.
I do want to give a full Aegis cheese and a refresher to a team with this Magnus, though, right? It's like it almost feels like you have to. The Hex gets purchased.
It's so hard to fight into.
Eyes on nothing to say. Can he make magic happen?
Spirit in a much more favorable spot here.
I think do they see him? Oh, he's right in the fog. Okay, pops up for a quick second, so they do see Collapse now and then inside that tree line. Tough target to go for him. There's double saves behind him, but they might just have to go for the risk.
Jiro. He heads in. We'll be going in underneath that Sentry and Observer combo.
The lanes are starting to be a problem. Yatoro's sending illusions. They have nothing to say to clear them out for a second right now, but they have to be careful with their positioning every time the Tinker goes back.
I just don't know if they can do it out here.
And look, every time Tinker resets, you see Spirit feels a little more bold, step up.
Hey, the Collapse. He's going to be able to try and get the jump. Has to put the BKB. The two of them will get caught by the Soulbind.
They've got the Dark Portrait on both.
The Dark Portrait, bringing Collapse at incredibly low. The Hex in there, they're taking Collapse out. Shiro moves forward, looks towards Lava, wants the BKB in the blade, but the torrent storms out.
Nothing to say.
The Tinker here, but the BKB's there, nothing to say. Trying to do
RP at 2.
RP catches Shiro, catches nothing to say. Use it with a Who Stop double ace, but it's an immediate buyback from Collapse, and he wants to keep this fight going. Screw over towards New. He's pushing back the Centaur. And the further buybacks coming in the TP as well. Over towards New. The backup will be there. The Hex from Nothing to Say comes into play. They jump forward. They take it the second time.
That's two.
Dieback on Collapse.
Yatoro, do they have detection? They
got the poison.
But Shiro buys back.
I mean,
5 versus 4.
This is the window that they have to abuse. 2 minutes without the Magnus in the game. LGD, they have to go for everything.
Use it in.
He's in. Husom straight away on him, but Poshka, he catches him on this attempted escape with the TP, but Poshka also the fall.
Goodness. I mean, what a way to start a fight. The double Dark Portrait really coming into play, taking out the Mag the first time. A lot of buybacks, though. This
LGD, they can absolutely breathe sort of a sigh of relief here in a game where they were getting nothing. They found something. They found something. Collapse out of the game for as long as he is. This gives LGD the room to get into the Roshan, take this Roche for themselves.
What a beautiful initiative. I mean, the way they started, this ward, honestly, Vision is something we always tend to talk about. That ward on the side there, as soon as they see a moment to sneak in and get that Dark Portrait, they do get a beautiful connection on 2.
Not an easy move to make.
Not an easy move,
so we'll see again how they're able to pull this one off. It all started with the attempt for Collapse, but as you say, the Soulbind into the Dark Portraits onto the two of them. It's just so much damage coming out to Collapse, immediately going down at the beginning of the fight, and from this point onwards, things started to get tricky here for Spirit.
I mean, look at the micro also. I didn't even notice on the left side there, but the Dark Portraits with the Stampede just starts chasing the supports out as well, too. It's chaos from them. Chaos inside this moment, too.
And you hitting some fantastic Who Stomps towards the end of it all, and even at this point, now maybe Collapse felt that he was going to be able to walk away from it, but the buyback from Nothing to Say coming in, TPing over towards New, meant that there was no escape, and they find that huge kill, taking Collapse down twice.
Holy moly. And now with comfort of an Aegis, too, on Nothing to Say. Feeling a bit better for him. A Hex now also for Planet, fully finished up on this Grimstroke, so more levels of control that they've actually started to now pick up that they were kind of lacking
at this point as well, you know, the fact that there were so many of them there. Honestly, it was lucky that they did only lose from Poshka at that one.
Yeah, if they didn't make the call to just go through the Twin Gate, he could just catch like a double sun and even kill out the Terrorblade, and we could just be seeing a different high ground push.
Either way, this game in a much better spot now for LGD than it was a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, Aegis, a cheese. They also have the refresher shard for New. Could be pretty massive.
Of course, plenty of buybacks were expended in that last fight.
Just the 2 supports on the side of Spirit haven't left. I mean, the Grimstroke does too, but he spent his gold. Planet did commit for the full Hex. Vision, I mean, initiation's still going to be a big thing we have to watch for. If they're able to get that kind of jump, if they see Collapse on the initiate and go, looks like that could be the answer for LGD.
They have the Sages, but with the state of the game, likely that LGD do hold things off until they get their next round of items complete. They can't get too ahead of themselves. A bad fight could cost them the game. It's getting to that point here, 51 minutes in.
It's definitely like that for a bit on both. I mean, Toro with no buyback too has to be so careful with his positioning. LGD all grouped together.
Probably going to be a scary 4 minutes for both sides.
Who's going to be the one to take the bigger risk? Who's going to go for the big play?
High risk, high reward at this point.
Playing the win, as we call it. Level 25 starting to be hit. CK also now has gotten his Shiro. Quite a bit more damage.
Spirit just staying completely away from this. Right up in their base right now. Only Maposhka that's sort of stepping out here and there, trying to get some vision out for the team.
Wow.
The rest of the squad making sure that they do not leave their high ground. They know how many ways that LGD have to set up with these, so the invis, with the jumps.
Setting up all over the place too, just with the Tinker. They can just, they have to stick as a unit on the side of T-Spirit or they will get outnumbered and caught outside the base. 2 minutes left on the Sages.
Shiro just consistently on the hunt. You know, this is why Spirit is staying as far back as they are. Especially with the DD on this CK. Shiro, if he finds someone, they're going to be caught in a pretty bad spot.
Yeah, these hexes, the dark portraits, their own allies turning against each other. Definitely something to always look at here. How is the itemization looking for Spirit? I mean, Maposhka's considering he almost has his hex too. Holding on to the buyback, of course, first.
Spirit. Closing in on the Aghanims on Yutoro. And with the buyback on cooldown, he wants to spend up as much as he can.
Already has the Moon Shard finished up. He's pretty much going to be hitting that critical mass when he does have it finished up. 7 minutes until those glorious neutral items as well, too. We said a very likely game that would go to distance. So far it is.
Definitely going to be watching out for sort of the Mirror Shield, the Ex Machinas, even maybe the Seer Stone for some of these heroes.
Lincoln's now for nothing to say, an extra bit of protection for him. Centaur buyback available. Same thing for the Grimstroke soon too, on the side of LGD. Difficult for them to force anything though, still playing into this Magnus, playing into this high ground defense that Spirit has. Just looking to control the map, sweeping across side to side.
2.5 minutes really, until we see the majority of these buybacks come back up.
Spirit, they're looking to time the hit with the Aegis though, going down 20 seconds, nothing to say.
They're ready to take this risk.
I mean, if they find the Tinker.
I think LGD, they're going to be aware that this sort of move's coming in.
Oh yeah.
They'll know that Spirit will want to try and abuse that Aegis timing.
Look at the illusion battle in the mid lane. The CK Phantasm versus the TB illusion, very exciting.
Not to find anything here, Spirit.
How are the smokes? Just checking to see who has more at the moment. Not seeing any on the side of LGD at the moment. I didn't see if any couriers have one.
Okay,
they have one of the courier. Okay, one on the courier also. So
each of the supports have got one to pop here while you Smiling Planet.
So 2 smokes on the side of LGD, and I don't see one on the side of Spirit though. So for the next upcoming engagement, it'd be difficult for them to get that angle if they don't have the initial vision to be able to get the jump.
I've got an Aghanim Shard now from the Tormentor out onto Nothing to Say, which could be quite something still against Yutoro, right, when he's kind of used the BKB and said that reduced attack range. Yeah, you know, it's something.
I don't think I've ever seen more player use Mira. It's jump new.
He's got the Eon Disc at the ready. If they can continue to follow this up on the side, Maposhka doesn't stand a chance. Maybe they can find more of him as Mira also taking heavy damage from the illusion.
What an angle.
Lalo get the Torrent Storm and the BKB off, tries to step back.
Yutoro's
in the midst of the fight. The Torrent Storm continues to throw him up.
Big RP.
He locked down Nothing to Say. They've taken Nothing to Say down. They've taken out you. No buyback available for Nothing to Say as he's out for 2 minutes. Yutoro also able to fight.
They get Shiro as well.
They don't have buybacks. They don't have buybacks. 50 seconds until Shiro's is back up. And Nothing to Say, he's not even got the money, even if it was back then. You trying to hold them out. He's in with the...
He's doing a pretty good job.
There from Mira, buys a charge for Yutoro.
He's just dead.
What my goodness, he's keeping this game alive here for the squad collapse. He's trying to find Planet with the blink out.
The Dark Portrait.
The Dark Portrait's done the damage. Planet takes down Collapse.
Holy cow.
I can't believe they held on.
I mean, new and
They
Planet.
lost their carry, they lost their mid, both without buybacks, but it doesn't matter. The rest of LGD pull through and keep this game alive.
New and Planet have been doing it for a lot of this game, but holy crap, they just actually killed Yatoro. That was a wild fight. I mean, we'd have to see it again, but this was pretty much Yatoro and Collapse versus the world, killing 3 heroes, and then they just get turned on by the Centaur Grim. Oh, man. I mean, Planet having a hell of a tournament. Let's see this one again. The angle of approach there from LGD at the start, too, looked beautiful.
It looked
but
pretty
then
good.
The jump in from Yatoro, I mean...
And they weren't afraid of anything here, Spirit, at the start of this fight. They knew how strong they were if they could get this Terrorblade into prime position. And for pretty much the 80% of this fight, it looked fantastic, right? Yatoro's here, Collapse has got the hold and control. They take out these 2 huge cores. You know, New and nothing to say to start things off. Of course, New's got the buyback, but it's to say Shiro and nothing to say. They did not have the buybacks ready. So at this point, Spirit, they've got to be feeling fantastic. They know that these buybacks are still on cooldown. So Yatoro, of course, he's going to push onwards. But New and Planet turn it around, and Yatoro caught absolutely by surprise by the potential for LGD to do so.
It's these split-second things, too. If you saw that, we hovered over Planet for a quick second. It was like 1 second until that Dark Porch comes back up. So every little thing matters at these points in the game.
I think, yeah, Team Spirit, they could taste the victory there, but it's very, very swiftly knocked away from them once more. LGD keeping this game going.
Oh, man, we are getting blessed. 2.5 more minutes until those neutral items come out. Everyone's buybacks soon coming back up. Gold, of course, still needs to be acquired for some.
Refresh on Collapse now.
Okay. Second salvo of that ult.
They're going all out. It's still a little short on the buyback off that purchase. Only 1,000 gold. I mean, that's the thing, of course.
Same thing for nothing to say. I mean, they're both...
He'll have it shortly as well.
Yep.
But in terms of overall buyback situation, definitely in a better spot for Spirit. Did cost the buyback from New and Planet to pull off those moves in that last defense.
What run do we get? Shield run bottom. No DD this time around. Such tense moments for both sides. Vision, jumps, everything. All important. Trying to kill off these supports seeming to be a very big answer as well, too. They're very difficult to bring down with all these Aeon Discs and protections. Planet, even now having a Shadow Blade of his own to try to hide himself into the back lines. I mean, he could be one of the most important heroes in this game at the moment. This Dark Portrait, it's a big difference maker.
Double X, double Dark Portrait, it really could set any of these fights in LGD's favor, especially if he's getting it on the big cores, if he's getting it on Yatoro.
Maposhka's still hanging on to his gold. Just seen him. He has the gold for the Hex, but he's just been sitting on it, waiting for those buyback plays.
Hitting that timing where it might not be too tempting to take risks with the new tier of neutral items. Just 1 minute round the corner.
Any Midas is queued up? Not quite yet, but perhaps we'll see one. Roche, it's back.
Who wants to step into the pit, though? Both teams having a formidable team fight.
There's very limited vision from both sides at the moment. That one ward placed up top at the moment from the side of Spirit. Shiro, continue to keep these waves shoved in. Collapse. Maybe looking for some type of fishing play here with the X marks. Pretty good ward from Spirit right now. That's not been taken out from LGD.
They're going to try and get the move.
This is giving a ton of information.
Planet, he's going to get
caught.
Show himself. Collapse catches him immediately to get the jump on towards Planet.
No buyback. Oh, man.
The RP Collapse, he's still got it good to go. Sure with the Phantasm. And the BKB will make sure the Collapse isn't able to pull him back.
He got aggressive. He got the Dark Portrait of the Terrorblade, but put himself in an incredibly dangerous position. Yeah, 2 minutes, no Grim.
Bit of a bait there, really, from Spirit. Collapse immediately in with that jump. Instantly pops the refresher as well, so has this second RP ready.
Absolutely.
If the rest of LGD try for anything, they'll look to swing attention over to the other side of the map with the twin gates, get down there.
They'll be able to
Let's go straight into the pit. The rest of this Metamorphosis should be able to take this down without any questions coming out from LGD.
I like how there's just no hesitation, though. They you know, these players, they have all the timings and everything. They know that this Grim Show did not have the buy, so no hesitation to get that RP out from Collapse.
I mean, honestly, yeah, and as we said, at this point, it's pretty much the biggest catch they can get.
Yeah.
They can get Planet before he can get any of the spells or items off. The team fight's going to look to be in a pretty solid spot for Spirit.
All right.
The Roshan, Aegis on Yatoro. Here come the tier 5s.
What do we get?
Pretty
Nothing to pretty
say.
busted one on the
I think
Tinker.
that's the one he was open for.
Does he have a telescope on his team too? I know he was carrying the telescope for quite some time, so he won't have both. He won't have a telescope plus a Seer Stone.
And Collapse, he's ready to go with a bit of an ode to his previous TI performances. The Horn Toss now online. More than ready to start pulling heroes out of LGD's base. The high ground defense is not going to be easy.
No. Ex Machina now also for Yotaro, the constant refresher on refresher. He actually sells his refresher himself because he has an Ex Machina. He'll buy out a full Eye of Scotty now for this Terrorblade. Giant Strength for New. Potential 10,000 HP Centaur definitely coming into play as well too.
I see what's going to be stronger. The ability from Team Spirit to jump in with Collapse and rip heroes out of the base, or the potential of Nothing to Say's Tinker just to completely infinitely hold the high ground with this insane amount of spam. Oh, he's got a Seer Stone as well.
I love it.
He is going to be jumping in from a mile off, and there we go.
Look at this.
Gets the grab on a Why You Smile. This poor old ancient apparition out of the game.
Oh my God, this is so insane.
This isn't even fair. I mean, you give
Look at the blink rage.
Tools, he's going to be catching everybody and anyone. Yotoro's pushing in. They get the jump on his Shiro. Try and skew him out the base. They're getting down here. The low ground is New. Jump sword over towards Yotoro. The Who's goes down. Ice Block flies in.
New is killing Yotoro.
Yotoro down low. They've taken him down the one. Collapse. Also to fall. Nothing to say. Finish him off with a laser. They're ready to set up for round two. Yotoro put the BKB. He's looking for the TP out. And with the BKB TP, he makes it away. But Maposhka will not be.
They got Mira.
New and Nothing to Say. They chased out the two supports. Don't get Mira as well.
Holy moly.
Nothing to Say is LGD hold.
Oh my, New killed everybody. 12,000 damage from a Centaur.
Okay, Yotoro. He wants to try and get these mega creeps.
That was cute.
All right.
Little X-Mark play.
An X-Mark play. I mean, they are that close to getting the megas. That does force out the fortification.
This is the highest tier of Dota that you can possibly imagine. These players, this is absolutely insane. New like killed Yotoro by himself, it felt like. I mean, the Centaur, what an absolute monster.
And they started the fight as well, but they sort of nearly got that clean start with the skewer out, but I think what was the Soulbind right from Planet
It caught it stuck, right?
It's stuck in mid-skewer.
Yeah. It looked a little weird there. I was like, wait, what is this interaction? I thought he was stuck on the lamp or something.
You know, was he going to end up outside of the base or in the base?
Yep.
Oh, he's going for the megas, and he's got them. He's got them. An easy X-Mark player from Yotoro and Lal. And honestly, that's something to be concerned about for LGD, because that sort of move, it could absolutely come in again, going for the tier 4s, going for the Ancient. LGD, they've got to get all these creeps pushed out of the base and get that backdoor protection back in play. Yeah, we see it again.
Yeah, good. I mean, I could barely see. It looked kind of weird, right? Because it pulled one, but the secondary one didn't break. All right, cool.
As you say, you just getting in on your.
He was on Yotoro.
I mean, sort of him against the 4 heroes of Spirit. They could not hold back this giant stream Centaur from just slamming down the Terrorblade.
And look at his target prioritization. He sees the TP coming out. They stop ET, and then he immediately goes for Mira too. The quick moves. This is some incredible spellcasting.
Quite the push now. They're able to get this push going down the mid lane. They've taken the tier 3 themselves here, LGD. Probably not going to be able to get anything more out of this one. At Spirit, they're pretty much all back up.
I mean, I love that you're seeing the smiles. It's such a stressful situation, but I'm sure both teams are having a hell of a time in that booth. Still anybody's game, but there is mega advantage at the moment for Spirit. A big advantage on those objectives, and they're starting to get the Book of the Dead as well, too. ET has that one picked up. Also has changed his build up a little bit too. He had the Hex all kind of done, switches it up for a BKB. He wants to be able to stand inside the midst of the fight.
Absolutely, he wants to survive and make sure that this aura is being pumped out the entire time.
Everything matters. Every little thing, as we like to say.
Why you smile, right? Still holding on to what he's going to decide to go with his tier 5. I'll get the Book of the Dead. Okay. So they've got that extra way to keep these waves pushed out. Incredibly important to do so, as I say. You know, they have to be prepared for the fact that Spirit, they can absolutely look for these X-Mark rat plays with the Terrorblade to try and close this game up.
Ooh, nice. And they get a Book of Shadows. I think maybe, I'm always wondering, like, what, you know, maybe Why You Smile had the Book of Shadows or something as well, too, on the Book of the Dead. Maybe contemplating, they were deciding which one he wants. But another form of saves, Mira has 2 charges of disruption, and he has a Book of Shadows, so crazy amounts of different plays he can do to protect his allies.
Still, as we saw before, Collapse, he cannot be underestimated from how much of a distance he can jump in and grab someone. LGD, they're stepping out of the base here.
Bro. They got a vision. Collapse.
He's able to get the jump, get the hold on, straight back straight away, into the fair, put back for Yotoro, the boys come flying in, puts the metamorph, and then take it down.
Shiro's still alive.
Put the metamorph, the BKB goes for a second round. Shiro, he's trying to escape him with the invis. Yotoro jumps forward. He's going to drive back with the X-Mark. Shiro's out of the game as well.
Huge catch. Collapse.
You've got to be ready for this Magnus.
And he's got another one. He's at the ready. Perfect layering of skills, too. Gets the Terror Wave while they're skewered, so they can't pop anything. Immediately get control. The full Hex now for the Kunkka coming out. They're ready.
Well, they've got to stay right by their fountain. Honestly, if you step anywhere further from the Ancient towards the edge of this base, Collapse will find you.
The Blink Rage is absolutely ridiculous. He can almost hit the tier 4s from where he is right now. With a little Harpoon play as well, too.
It's all right.
X plays.
Proceeding on to the tier 4s. New trying with the jump in, but the X might drag back's there.
Poking and prodding. The towers are dropping. And they can just keep doing this with the X. And with that Ex Machina constantly as well.
They're trying to hold on the spy back. So they can get away with that one, but the tier 4's gone. The Ancient now exposed.
Oh boy.
Hex. Forward again, they catch him with the Hex, but the X mark's there. 4 from you. So with the Houston on him, but the defensive disruption comes into play. Torrent up on the walls.
Hex on Collapse.
Comes down from Shiro. Look at the Hex on the Collapse. The Soul by 4.
He's controlled. He's got it.
Collapse. They turn over Mapochka wants the BKB. We'll get the sleep stop off towards you. Mules up here as LGD's ready with the set of try from Mapochka. Second time round, but he's out with the glim, and it doesn't matter. Liu still finds him. Jumps in with the Who's Stop. This shadow, the book of shadows there from Mira, trying to buy some extra safety here from Mapochka to get away. But New and Shiro stay upon him. They bring down a second New with a double kill. They push back the tide of Team Spirit. Damage still being done here by the Book of the Dead.
Oh, this game could end in a pretty kind of cloudy way where they just say Book of the Dead and the Ex Machina and everything.
There's just so much rap potential at the 67-minute mark.
And there's no glyph for how long? Okay, it's 15 seconds. They're going to have it back up soon.
I mean, can
True defense of the Ancients.
LGD push out quick enough? I mean, it is a minute where there's no Mapochka, no Collapse, but it just doesn't feel like enough for LGD. I think they're still going to just get consistently held in their base.
He's got
the X upon him. They can take him out every single time.
They're hunting behind, though. Mira? Get away.
Didn't find him there, but Mira indeed will manage to escape. Spirit, they just got to keep their composure, and they should have a solid chance of closing this one up.
Oh, and they know that Yotaro went all the way back to base. The Phantom actually chased him all the way across there with the X, so they know that Yotaro is back over here.
LGD.
Getting the lanes pushed out a little bit here. Book of the Dead shoving out bottom. Top, they have Tinker pushing, and they have all 3 heroes in the mid lane.
Still a little bit of a window where maybe they can try for something while Spirit the 3 of them up.
They catch Laurel.
Outside of the base. They get it with the opening stun. The second round of spells in front. Nothing to say. Ready to burst. If Lone Mira comes into off-ramp and disrupt to try and keep him safe. But Laurel still goes down.
And now Mira.
Up into the high ground, trying to chase him out. Gets pushed back by the Terror Wave from Yotaro. See if they can force any of these buybacks. Lyle out for 2 minutes.
Ice Blast to scout. It's going to connect on Collapse.
Doesn't look like they'll capitalize onto this one, LGD. They don't want to jump the tier 4s for now. But 100 seconds, no Kunkka.
And they're getting their lanes dealt with. Why You Smile just continues to shove out bottom. Laurel getting greedy, getting outside there for just what a medium camp gets punished for it. Quick little scout there from LGD. Such tense moments.
Shiva's guard done now for nothing to say. LGD, they're absolutely in position to try and jump again here aggressively into the base of Team Spirit.
Has he used the Warp Flare, by the way? I don't think so, right? I don't think I've ever seen anyone use the Warp Flare. Why?
Yeah, too many buttons.
Too many buttons.
Players.
Why? Hits 25, another pretty impactful one. Is going to help them clear out waves and in these team fights, more chaos. Got their lanes in a good position for the fight. 60 seconds, still no Kunkka.
Spirit. Yotaro teasing with the idea of heading out into the triangle.
It's a risky play.
Oh, it is, but Collapse if he can find a grab. Try and get the ward down. Actually, a little bit low there on this, so that it doesn't actually get up into the high ground. So I won't really give them any information with that regard. They'll back off to the high ground of their own base.
I mean, they're considering it, but then they're probably like, Kunkka's coming back in 30 seconds. You know, our lanes, they're still pretty okay.
Yeah, they're sort of happy to sit back and just hope that LGD don't push in within these next 30 seconds. Wait for the full 5-man to be back up on Spirit.
Seer Stone constantly being used to get vision around those high grounds. 70 minutes have been hit. Another Wisdom Rune. Anyone not 25 yet? Everyone's kind of hit it now already, right?
Yep. Across the board. Yep. Everybody.
Soon 30, I guess, for Collapse, but not the biggest difference maker.
What's the timing on this rush? Just a minute.
One more minute.
There's the Roshan coming out. Spirit.
They got to smoke. Yep, they know. That rush could be getting up pretty soon.
In terms
positioning.
Of initiation, it's Collapse that sort of is the king right now. This Magnus.
They've got more buybacks right now. They have a lot more bodies they can throw on the side of Team Spirit. 2 buybacks not at the ready on the side of LGD.
They have got the axe done on Shiro.
They do.
So an extra way to sort of disrupt the initiation from Spirit. If
I mean,
we
New
get
is-
his illusions pumped out,
It was in already.
he's wrapping right around the back. Pops the Shiva's guard.
Toro.
On this.
They're on Planet.
Full Planet. They found the Grimstroke. Planet's out of the fight. Buys back straight away. And you see here, New and Shiro still trying to see if they can wrap around from the side. But the Book of the Dead, it's out upon them, kind of stopping them from being able to lead them in the way that they want it.
Shiro, they found him.
Shiro gets the drag back straight away into the RP. Full focus over towards the Chaos down and taking Shiro down. Shiro out for 2 minutes. Buyback on cooldown. The Chaos.
They found MTS.
Collapse. He gets another. The second round ready to go over the wall. Nothing to say. Nothing to say. Pops the BKB. Trying to TP out of this one, but Yatoro
cannot.
covered him. Triple kill for Yatoro. And nothing to say. Goes down. Instant buyback for the Tinker. But Spirit now 5 versus 4 for the next 100 seconds.
Collapse is pulling out his magic, catching the perfect heroes back to back. Drags them all the way across the fight with that skewer.
Roshan's up. Spirit. They can look to take this. I mean, actually,
Whoa. New and Planet.
Forward. Lyle, he was not expecting to see LGD still out at this point of the map. Lyle gets caught.
You cannot forget about these two. They've been menaces all game. Again, finding Laurel Collapse. Won't find the catch.
Makes things a bit more complicated now for Spirit.
It was a buyback.
Like that.
Was a buyback from the Tinker, though.
Should still be able to have the luxury of taking down the Roshan.
These fights are just so wild. How much damage there truly is, but overall the catch again and again from Collapse. It's just been beautiful in these.
We'll see. I mean, this Aghanim's who's going to the SD or the Elder Titan.
Ooh. And he's got BK. You probably give it to Mira.
Yep, give it a mirror.
But imagine so.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
And also taking the Aegis.
Aegis as well. I mean, the saves are pretty damn important right now.
All right.
Cool. I love it. Supports justice.
No, I mean, definitely makes some sort of sense, right? Especially when Yatoro, right, at this stage, relying on the Ex Machina to sort of refresh his items. When he pops the Metamorphosis, he can't really afford to go down and then come back up. Everything has to be invested in keeping him alive in that one life, and making sure that the Shadow Demon is always able to save him could just do so.
Yeah, it's besides just these disruptions and stuff too. It's just having, more and more demonic purges is always massive versus this Tinker. So, yeah, definitely huge here for Mira. More and more potential to be able to save out Toro as the push commences.
Yeah, approaching the base once more. Shiro's back up. Immediate smoke from LGD.
Okay.
Lyle, he'll be ready to join the push of Spirit in 10 seconds. Of course, worth noticing, Fortification is back online for both sides.
And Neo, his buyback is back at the ready. I don't know why. I just feel like for Neo, he seems to be the most important hero on the side of LGD throughout this entire game.
1 minute until Shiro has his.
Okay.
Zora X marked up, jumps in to get a bit of information.
Big boom. X back. Ice Blast won't connect.
Collapse.
He will connect on 2.
Get Shiro, drags them back in the open. The Phantasm's there for Shiro, dodges the RP. Doesn't matter that the damage coming out for Yatoro. It's too damn hard. As Yu's taken out. Shiro in trouble. They chase on towards it. The Yule setup's there.
He's got the cheese.
He'll get the cheese up, but it doesn't matter. Yatoro with the aggressive Sunder helps to bring Shiro down a second time. He's out of the game. 95. Buyback still on cooldown here for the Chaos Knight.
And Collapse, he's got the refresher at the ready, so he can go for another round.
Oh, and he's looking for it. Tries to check out along the tree line. Won't find anything other than an illusion on this jump. But of course, with the low cooldowns, he is ready to jump time and time again.
Hey, he's ready to go every single time. And Miposhka also with his 25. This Earth Splitter cooldown, it's actually doing an immense amount of damage versus these super tanky cores at this late stage of the game. I mean, this Centaur has like 8,000 HP in a lot of the fights. 40, like just 4,000 HP gone instantly.
Can LGD hold this? 4 versus 5. Buyback would have been back up in 5 seconds, but Shiro, he's low on the gold. 1,600 short of buyback. Spirit, let's Collapse. He'll get the grab on the AA. Quick drag back onto YU Smile. A couple of hits from Yatoro, and the AA is gone.
Yatoro's in.
The BKB, they're looking to try and close it. They're straight onto the H, and the buyback comes out from YU Smile. And Spirit,
instant.
They'll respect that immediate back off.
And Collapse was so quick, he actually popped his own refresher the second the AA buyback comes out, gets himself out of there. No hesitation whatsoever.
Doesn't want to get caught out by this Blink Yule's Ice Blast combo that YU Smile can offensively play with. Spirit still hovering around the outskirts of the base. Collapse looking for another grab. Smoke up from LGD. They'll look to try and stay hidden. They are going to have to reveal themselves soon, though, to try and pull the creeps off the Ancient. They kept it cool. They didn't put the Fortification. They still had that at the ready.
They got to reveal their book, though. Their book is just standing there, at least to start clearing out some of these creeps, because the building is starting to go down.
Poster BKB is ready to try and force a reaction. Poster Metamorphosis, you look to close it, but the fortifications there. They were able to force that out, Spirit. They'll back off.
That's their only one. Ancient's already down to half HP. Toro. He's going to back up and reset for a second here. Going to get Axe. He has 20 seconds until Matt is back up.
Oh, look at that jump! Look at that! The jump and the disruption there from here. Holds back you. Shiro, he's in on top of Maposhka.
Another save.
Disruption. Buying time for Maposhka to potentially walk out of this one, but he's used up. The setup's there. Maposhka still managed to get the BKB off. The Glimmer Cave's out. Maposhka is able to walk away. Refreshing pop from Lal. He's going to be ready with another round of spells to throw down upon them. They look over towards you. They've caught up with the demonic pledge with the great. You Torres with the BKB.
I knew.
Right down towards you. Trying to get down the low ground, but they've got him with the torrent. He's dead for 2 minutes. They've lost you, and they're going to lose more. Collapse, Stewart back on enough to the same. Tinker is out.
Collapse has done it. The two biggest targets, it feels like they just call it.
GG is called.
Wow.
Spirit take this game one, 76 minutes in.
Wow.
LGD, despite their best attempts with this consistent hold to keep this game alive, it was just too much for them at the end of the day.
Is Magnus going to become the hero of this series? It could definitely be. I mean, we saw what LGD was able to do with it yesterday, and sometimes throughout this tournament. Collapse putting on a different kind of display. Every single one of these catches was perfect. Have to, of course, highlight these saves. I mean, Mira, how many times did it feel like he just bailed his teammates out of these incredibly tough scenarios? There at the end, I think he saved 3 people just with double destruction.